a good conversation. Got to speak on these actual sanctuary cities. That's definitely out there on the West Coast as well too, but also Chicago and DC and these other cities as well too. So definitely want to get our people's opinion tonight. Shout out to you, Black. I see you up in the space. Shout out to Goddess. How you doing tonight? Like I said, guys, this space, hopefully everything will go okay because I was having some issues. A couple times I tried starting this space out, and we're just having some issues getting it going. So I'm glad that we finally got it. It took a few times. I went ahead and went to the Play Store myself and updated the app as well. So hopefully everything will be everything tonight, man. So shout out to everybody that's coming up in this space. We're gonna get this thing started. We're gonna have plan on having us a nice conversation tonight as well, guys. So I definitely want to hear our people's opinion on what they feel, what they think about this situation. This is these sanctuary cities aren't going anywhere anytime soon, y'all. So it seems like more and more of them are popping up, and you know, um, it's an issue. It's a major issue going on. So, like I said, we definitely gonna get up here tonight, discuss it. Hopefully we can have us a nice conversation. I want to hear some great ideas and just have nice dialogue as always. So I guess I won't wait either. Let me go ahead and get started. We got a couple articles we're gonna touch up on tonight. Like I said, we're gonna talk about the focal point tonight definitely is gonna be about the sanctuary cities. We're gonna also mention actually what's going on over there too, because we want to do world news tonight too. So we're gonna touch up on the US news, but we can also touch up on the world news as well too. A lot of shockwaves were sent yesterday when Uganda made the announcement that they did. So a lot of people from all over the world were pretty much saying how they felt about the situation. Shout out to my girl Rira. I see her coming up in here as well too. So shout out to UK3, Lulu. So let me go ahead and get this thing started, man, and we'll go ahead and, like I said, we'll touch up on it as our people come in. They can join in and catch up with us as well too. The articles I got up in the jumbotron. This is from the LA Times, curated on the Newstoter.com platform. It says 3 city council members want a law designating LA a sanctuary city. Soon after President Trump took office, Los Angeles immigration groups demanded that City Hall label LA a haven for immigrants in the face of his promised crackdown. The Los Angeles City Council ultimately passed a resolution that declared LA a city of sanctuary, a symbolic gesture that offered no legal protections. Now, council members Eunice Hernandez, Hugo Soto Martinez, and Nithya Raymond wanted to strengthen LA's laws around immigration. They announced Tuesday they would seek a passage of an ordinance declaring LA a sanctuary city and barring city personnel or resources from being used in federal immigration enforcement. If adopted, the law will be largely similar to the one in San Francisco. It prohibits city employees from using city funds or resources to assist U.S. immigration and customs enforcement officers in the enforcement of federal immigration laws unless such assistance is required by federal or state law. Raymond said her office worked with immigration advocates and others on a proposed law. Some of the leaders of those groups told the Times they are looking to next year's presidential election. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a presumed Republican candidate, has made cracking down on people in the country without authorization a focus. We want to make sure that LA is ready for a worst case scenario, says Shu Ming Chia, Deputy Director of Programs and Campaigns at the California Immigration Policy. The law sought by 3 council members would codify existing policies, including a 2017 executive directive issued by then Mayor Eric Garcetti that prohibits all city employees from using public facilities or resources to assist or cooperate with federal civil immigration enforcement. The proposed law would also bar federal immigration authorities or other entities connected to the immigration enforcement from accessing city databases or anyone's personal data. The proposal follows moves by the LA County Board of Supervisors, which in 2020 voted to ban the transfer of inmates to ICE custody unless authorities have a judicial warrant. The council members' motion asked the city to prepare a draft ordinance within 60 days that will prohibit the law, the use of city resources, property, or personnel for any federal immigration enforcement. Nearly 10% of the nation's 11.1 million immigrants who are in the country without legal authorization reside in Los Angeles and Orange counties, according to a 2017 Pew Research Center report. Speaking at a news conference Tuesday, Hernandez said it is time that LA lives up to its promise to our immigrant communities. Symbolic gestures are not enough, Hernandez said. Internal policies that can be changed from one day to the next are not enough. Hernandez's office said in a news release that the city and internal LAPD policies still allow for ICE officers to access city jails to interrogate people in LAPD custody, and under certain circumstances, LAPD officers are permitted to transfer individuals to ICE custody even when judicial warrants are not issued. The proposed ordinance seeks to limit those interactions. The Los Angeles Police Department declined to answer questions about its policies. The Times also sent multiple questions to ICE about its practices. In response, the AG said its operations are focused on smart, effective immigration and enforcement that protects the homeland through the arrest and removal of those who undermine the safety of our communities and the integrity of our immigration laws. Following Trump's election and promise to deport migrants, mayors in Boston, Chicago, and elsewhere reaffirmed their cities as sanctuaries, and the California legislature passed a law that aims to protect immigrants. LA's efforts around establishing itself as a sanctuary have come in fits and starts. The city in 2017 set aside $2 million for legal defense fund to pay for attorneys for individuals and families who are detained or at risk of deportation. City leaders also introduced a resolution last year to declare LA a city of sanctuary, calling it a direct response to Trump's efforts to unwind a program that protects immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. However, it took the city 2 years to vote on the resolution. By then, immigrant advocates said its declaration lost significance. President Biden has reversed some immigration policies, but also faced criticism for proposals that immigration groups would say mirror Trump's tough crackdown. At the same time, ICE surveillance capabilities have expanded. The agency has worked with third-party vendors to collect data from utility companies and private databases, according to findings from a 2-year investigation published last year by Georgetown Law Center on Privacy and Technology. For example, the report found that ICE has driver's license data for 3 in 4 adults living in the U.S. and can track the movement of vehicles in cities that are home to nearby 75% of the adults. Albert Foxconn, executive director of Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, said declarations of sanctuary cities are labels, empty rhetoric, unless cities and counties also ensure that ICE can't access troves of data collected by those municipalities. The group has filed a lawsuit against a third-party vendor in a federal case in California. We encourage cities to analyze city data and how it's being stored and whether it's susceptible to warrants, Khan said. In Los Angeles, mobility data are collected by the city, for example, Khan said. Los Angeles Department of Transportation spokesperson Colin Sweeney said the city receives route or drop-off and pick-up information from companies that offer scooters, bicycles, and some taxis in LA to ensure operators are following city rules. The city doesn't gather information about riders, Sweeney said. The department is prohibited from sharing its mobility data with law enforcement unless required by a subpoena or warrant, Sweeney said. No federal agency has ever accessed or sought access to this data, he added. Ira Melman, spokesman for the Federation of American Immigration Reform, predicted that the proposal, if passed, would strain LA's education and healthcare system. People tend to flock to areas where they know there isn't cooperation with federal immigration authorities, said Melman, calling the proposal costly for taxpayers. The phrase sanctuary city dates to the 1980s when U.S. immigration policies allowed some Central American immigrants entry, but not others. In response, Berkeley and a few other municipalities declared themselves sanctuary cities to accept those migrants. A divided LA City Council adopted a resolution in 1985 declaring Los Angeles a city of sanctuary for immigrants fleeing political persecution and violence, particularly refugees of El Salvador and Guatemala. After one council member threatened to ballot measure to overturn the resolution, the council watered it down and dropped the phrase city of sanctuary. Instead, the council voted to reaffirm a policy that banned city employees from considering a person's refugee or resident status before providing city services. So that's in LA. Next article we have touches up exactly what's going on in San Francisco as well, too. Shout out to our people that's coming up in here. Yeah, we touching up on this tonight, guys. We touching up on the sanctuary cities. If you live in a sanctuary city as well, too, we want to hear about it. Be free to go ahead and feel free to go ahead and request a microphone. We will definitely go ahead and let you up here. At this point in time, I don't have any co-hosts up here, but we will definitely still let you guys up here. See my man Original coming up here. Let's get original up here. If we can get you up here, original, I'm trying. I'm trying to get you original. Okay. What's going on, original? Oh, and drops you down to listener. Original, you did get your app. You did download a new version of the you did get update the new Twitter, did you? If you didn't, go to the Google Play Store. Okay, there you go. I see you now. What's going on, original? You there, original? Can you hear me, original? Are you there, original? Can you guys still, if you guys can hear me in the space, give me a hand sign and just let me know that you guys can hear me, because I don't know if I'm in the matrix or original's in the matrix, but if anybody can hear me in the space, give me a thumbs up, give me something, let me know, a hand signal or something, let me know that the audio is okay, because I can hear myself talking, but I don't see anybody else. Can you guys hear me? Okay. At least I got it. Okay. Just making sure. Original, are you there? Okay, I see love my folks is over there. What's up, love my folks? I see you over there in the YouTube realm over there. I don't know if original's there or not, so I guess I'll just go ahead and move on. Original, I thought you was there, so if you get a chance to say something, I will get you back in here. And I don't know if this space is for the act up, because I don't see Professor. I see Professor, but I don't see Professor's his actual Okay, now I see a Professor. Okay, now I see you coming up in here. Let's see if we can get you up here, Professor, real quick. This thing is a real shit show. This Twitter thing is right now. Good Lord. Trying to get you up there, Professor. Oh, this is a shit show. What's up, love, my folks? Professor, can you hear me? Oh my God, what the hell? I hope I'm not going to have to shut the space down. Professor, can you hear me? Because now our speakers can't. Our speakers can't hear me or something. Because original dropped down. You can hear. Can you speak, Professor? Can you speak, Professor?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, because it was taking you a minute to.
Yeah. It's acting up again, y'all. This is the upgraded version.
Yeah, this because I had to update it because it wouldn't let me connect earlier. It wouldn't let me connect.
Yeah, it's acting up, y'all. I tell you, man, Elon, man, this dude that did a number on this damn Twitter. I'm telling you, y'all, this shit is nothing but the shitter.
Yeah, it's acting up, man. Professor, go ahead while we got you up here. I don't know if you heard anything I was reading as I was reading this first article. If you want to touch up on anything real quick, I'll see if I can get original to speak as well too. If he can hear, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm assuming you were talking about the sanctuary cities.
Yeah. I was just talking about what's going on out there in LA real quick, and I'm gonna touch up on. If you want to wait till I touch up on this next article as well from San Francisco before you want to speak, that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, touch up on that, and I'll come back.
All right, original. Can you hear me too?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, that's good. At least we got y'all. Let me go ahead and touch up on this article real quick. Y'all hang tight. Hopefully this space won't be too janky tonight. So y'all hang tight, and I'm gonna go ahead and touch up on it. This next article is from KQED. It's curated on the Newstoter.com platform as well too. I see DJs coming up in the spot, so let me go ahead and and this is a new goddamn, and this is a new update. I'm trying to get you on too, DJ. This is the new update that Twitter got, and this thing is just a piece of damn garbage. Just a piece of garbage. Good Lord. DJ, I can't even bring you up as a co-host right now because I don't know. I won't be surprised if I may have to start this damn space over as well too, man. Okay, I sent you the co-host invite, so you get a chance. Except, let me go ahead and touch up on this new article. Good lord, yikes. Okay, San Francisco.
DJ in the house.
It may take a minute for him to hear too, as well, Professor. Like so.
Yo, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you good. You good.
All right, for sure. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you straight. Everybody's been having issues, so don't worry about it. Let me touch up on this article real quick. San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins backtracks on sanctuary city comment. Like I said, this is up in the Jumbotron as well too. San Francisco will not carve out new exceptions to its sanctuary city ordinance to cooperate with the Department of Homeland Security after District Attorney Brooke Jenkins on Wednesday officially withdrew her proposal to do so. Members of the Board of Supervisors affirmed their move on Thursday. Jenkins' decision came just a day after supervisors overwhelmingly passed a resolution reaffirming support for the city's sanctuary city law in a 10-1 vote, with Supervisor Matt Dorsey as the only holdout. The ordinance broadly prohibits city leaders and police from notifying immigration and customs enforcement if a person potentially facing deportation is released from custody. After meeting with the victims of these horrific crimes and community leaders, I have asked Supervisor Catherine Stefani to table our two ordinances that would allow limited exceptions to our policy to authorize a parole entry agreement with the Department of Homeland Security, Jenkins said in a prepared statement. Jenkins in February asked the Board of Supervisors to make an exception to the sanctuary ordinance for two men, one accused of raping a child and another who's suspected of domestic violence and murder. Both suspects are Mexican nationals who have fled to the United States. Jenkins previously said that federal authorities would refuse to seek extradition of the suspects unless San Francisco changed its decades-long stance on immigration enforcement. On Thursday, the Public Safety and Neighborhood Services Committee, which consists of Supervisors Stefani, Dorsey, and Joel Engardo, voted unanimously to table the amendments. I was here in 2019 when DHS asked us to do the very same thing, and then it turned out we didn't need to do it at all because they brought the individual back without any amendments whatsoever, Stefani said before the committee. In a statement, a stark reversal from a previous stance, Jenkins stated that federal authorities could pursue the two men without San Francisco compromising its sanctuary laws. We will work with and call on federal government to expedite the apprehension and transportation of the wanted domestic violence, murder, and the child rapists who fled the country, Jenkins wrote. My priority is delivering justice for these families who have been waiting for years. Time is of the essence in these cases, and the federal government, if it chooses to, can offer these families their best shot at seeing justice. Stefani said the district attorney reassured her that she is working with the federal government to expedite the apprehension and extradition of the suspects. Their assistance in these cases will ensure that we're able to live up to our mutual commitments to the people of San Francisco, the state of California, and the United States, Stefani said. Meanwhile, another proposal to amend the sanctuary law appears not to have enough votes for the supervisors to pass. That proposal, would put forward by Dorsey, would add people charged with dealing fentanyl to the city's list of exceptions for sanctuary protections. Under San Francisco's current policy, local law enforcement can honor an ICE request to hold someone if that person is facing a violent felony charge and was previously convicted of a violent felony, including murder, rape, and arson, and the previous seven years or so of serious felony, including robbery and carjacking in the previous 5 years. Dorsey's proposal would add an additional exception to the list for a person who had been found guilty of selling fentanyl and previously convicted of fentanyl dealing or violent felony in the prior 7 years or a serious felony in the prior 5 years. Dorsey is considering proposing a ballot measure if it does not pass the Board of Supervisors, according to multiple reports. At the Public Safety Committee hearing Thursday, Engardo called on the board to uphold San Francisco's commitment to its sanctuary policy. It is an important concept for public safety because it allows undocumented residents to report crimes and testify as witness without fear of deportation, he said at the hearing. The sanctuary city concept is sacred. We should not weaken it. So we're getting to the point here with some of these sanctuary things that, that now you're starting to have people on a local level sit up here and basically tell the federal government and the state government, for that matter, what you can and cannot do. that basically, I mean, it has to be something really, really outlandish for them to go ahead and hand over these people. So now you got people on the local level pretty much telling the federal government, Homeland Security, ICE, all telling everybody, hey, you know what? Unless this person did this or that or whatever, we're going to pretty much hold them. So they're sitting up here and they're actually giving a level of protection to some of these actual migrants in this country that maybe that even regular people such as you and I, regular citizens, don't have. They're able to go ahead and pretty much tell the federal government, unless it's something really, really violent, really serious, just a complete felony, that hey, you don't have access to these people. These people are protected under our sanctuary laws. Professor, now you want to go ahead because I know you was trying to say something before you were an original. So let's see how this audio is working, man. Let's see if you can go ahead and say something. You there, Professor? What about you, original? You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, original. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, this is insane that they want to protect criminals because they crossed over the border illegally. Now, we can't cross over into Mexico and get this same treatment, or any other country. They're gonna either haul our butts into jail, or they're gonna send us back. Because America would say, "Well, we have an extradition treaty with you." And see, I thought that I thought that state law trumps local law, and federal law trumps state and local law. So I find it interesting that I find it interesting that they can do this, because see, a lot of this junk started with that little degenerate bastard Barack Obama. See how they'll step up and do stuff to protect every other demographic, including the illegal aliens. But I don't call it, remember, I call it illegal aliens. I don't care who don't like it. But they will protect these people. In the meantime, we don't get help. We can't even get honorable mention. That's a damn shame. And remember, I told you before, the former mayor of Atlanta, though, Keisha Lance Bottom, she filed paperwork in a court of law trying to protect these savages, but yet didn't do anything for black folks. And that's why the Democrats are so worried now, because there are so many black people saying, "You're not talking reparations. We are not voting." And I don't know if you saw this old thing as the spokesperson for the White House. Someone showed a clip where she was asked about reparations. She said, "Oh, no comment." They do not want to have that conversation. We have to force that on them. And the one way we can do that is with our vote. Because I responded to something stating that I didn't vote for you in 2016, 2020, and 2022 when Raphael was, going back to the Senate, and I'm not going to do it now. Because at some point we ourselves have to make a decision. Are we going to continue to allow this benign neglect edict to be disseminated to us? Or are we going to stand up and take what's rightfully ours? Because there should be no illegal aliens in this country. And see, today I saw something where someone was saying that it's been going on for a minute now, where they're trying to say certain jobs shouldn't require a college degree. Hold up. Y'all put all this stuff into place for black folks. First they said we needed a high school diploma, we mastered that. Then it was that we needed a college degree, we mastered that. Then they said you needed an advanced degree, we mastered that. Put these savages in that same bag. They should not be given preference for jobs, and they may not have a high school diploma. And now you're seeing these people, because I'm seeing a lot of it here in the local news here. Something happened to these savages. The parents don't even speak English. No, we should not be providing them with any kind of with any kind of assistance if they can't speak the language. Either you speak the language or you take your ass somewhere where you can't speak that language. Because I know when I was in California, this is when Pete Wilson was governor, they made English the official language of California. And I think they did the same thing here in Georgia. We should not have to have documents like for to take the driving test and this, that, and whatever. None of that stuff should be put in other languages. Either you speak the language of the country or take your ass back where you come from. And I'll land with that.
All right, appreciate that, Original Rella. I approved you to speak. I don't know if because I know the space has been having some issues and stuff like that as well too. So if you want to try to come back up here, we'll try to get you up here. But I it took me a minute to try to get it. I kept clicking on it, but finally it went through. So I don't know if there's still some issues we having with the actual space itself, or if you just decided at this point in time that you didn't want to speak. But if you want to come back up and speak, definitely come up and try to speak. We'll try to get you up. I don't know. I know the little face you got there, but hey, I don't know, man. The space is shit. I mean, to be real about it is, I don't know what's up. It took me forever in the day to get on the thing, and I said, well, let me go ahead and update the app. Thought that would help, and it's still been running like crap. So, hey, man, it is what it is. Like you said, Professor, like this is becoming, forget Twitter, it's becoming shitter here. Like it's just ridiculous, man. I see my girl on love my folks, like she's a character over there on YouTube. Let me read a couple of comments while I get the professor real quick. She was saying Keisha is not black, she's a born again Democrat. You need a skilled trade. The next generation will be consultants and contractors. Employees will only exist for government jobs. So yeah, you definitely need a trade or a skill. You need a degree or something like that as well too. So I'm not gonna disagree with you on that. But like I said, this is just ridiculous. Like this app is just starting to bother me right now with how stupid it's being ran. But Professor, go ahead and go ahead, and then I want to go ahead too, and I want to touch up. I want to get the Uganda thing out there as well too. But go ahead, Professor, and y'all know, like the topic of the night is going to be the sanctuary cities. But if anybody wants to talk about also what's going over there with the potential life sentences and death penalties for those in Uganda, that's LGBTQ, and now you got the United States and a bunch of other Western nations and stuff chiming in. First off, I got to just say this before I even touch up on that. I don't support like the same-sex marriage, but at the same time, you shouldn't be killing people or locking them up because that's their sexual preference. That's my opinion. You don't just go around killing folks or gonna lock them up for the rest of their life or whatever because of their sexual preference. That's how I feel. Like, I mean, if you don't want to have gay marriages, that's one thing. Put that in the law or whatever. But I don't think you need to go ahead and start killing people and rounding them up and throwing them in prison for the lifetime either. So, Professor, go ahead. Let me see how your audio is. I hope we can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me, Newstoter and DJ?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm just going to say this, family, and I just want to say peace, power, and reparations to everybody in the space. Good to see you up in here, Brother Black Majority, Sister Rera, see Ray down there, Sister Trouble up in here. We love to listen to the Trouble because she brings the trouble. Apple Bubbles, Goddess Michelle, Sister Namobi. So it's good to see everybody that's up in the space tonight, the usual suspects, the Black family, the Newstoter family. I will say this, y'all, and I'm going to throw some stuff out there that might bother some of you when I say it, because I know it did me. I think we have to look at ourselves in the mirror with this whole sanctuary thing. Now, you ask, what do I mean by that? For the longest, Black Americans stomped for these groups. And we did it for too long. Instead of stomping for our own people and looking out for our own well-being. This is what has come to us now, where we got these groups coming all in here, turning their back on us, and even trying to attack us in the name of white supremacy. And these are the groups that we went out here saying, hey, yeah, let them come on in. See, think back when Trump was in office, and he was saying what he was saying about closing these borders, Black Americans were out there saying, no, don't close those borders. That's right. But we really should have been with Trump saying, close the goddamn borders. Now, that's just the truth of it, y'all. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror. For years and years, our Black American people have been stumping for these damn groups. And then we even see our Black leaders, so-called Black American leaders, that be stumping for these groups to come over here too, instead of stumping for the needs of their own people. So, Black American family, for too long, we stump for other groups when we should have been stumping for ourselves. So this is where we are right now. Now we got to make sure we put a closure on that bullshit where we've been helping everybody else instead of helping ourselves. Because when you don't help yourself, this is what happens. See, now people think, well, shit, these goddamn Black Americans, they always looked out for other groups. They didn't ever give a shit about themselves. Because it's true. I looked at a video the other day that was very disturbing to me. I think y'all all seen it too, but it was on somebody's page of, I think it was like a young Black American female that was inside a store. I think it was like a bookstore, and she had a back turned, and some big fat white female came from the back and pushed her into the bookshelf, or pushed her into one of those shelves where they put the books. She pushed her down, and of course the Black female got up, and there was an older Black woman. I think that Black woman might have been an immigrant. But anyway, the young Black female went around there and went after the white female and grabbed her by the hair and threw her on the ground, on the floor, and she started pouncing on her. And she said, "You asked for this. You made me do this. You asked for this." I could hear her in the video saying, "You asked for this. This is what you wanted. This is what you got." And of course, there's this other white female that comes from somewhere and pulls the Black girl and the white girl from each other. And then the older Black female comes in and she coddles the white girl. She said, "Are you all right? Are you all right, baby?" I was like, "Oh Lord, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, everybody." A lot of Black people, particularly older Black people, still want to coddle white folks because that's how the times were for them. They coddled these white folks, and so they still want to coddle them even to this day. You know, which is what we saw with this older Black female in that video. Instead of looking out for the young Black girl that had been attacked, she went to the white girl and asked her if she was okay. See, this is the problem, folks. And we all been guilty of it. For the most part, we always coddled other goddamn groups. So I just want to say, Black American family, we got to think about ourselves first. We got to think about each other first. You understand? I land my plane there.
Self-preservation is key, Professor. You're right. For years, we've always tried to go ahead and include other groups because we thought that we could always unite and we could tackle white supremacy together if we had our own coalition. We really believed in the minority coalition. Now we see that's just all talk. The only time you hear about the minority coalition in effect is when it's election time. Any other time when it's something, when you're really trying to go ahead and get something started, nobody wants to hear that. So it's come back to bite us in the ass. And you're right. A lot of it's the older Black people. older black people in my family, when you start, you mention some of this stuff to them, they think that you're speaking a foreign language almost. Let me say something real quick to everybody in the space as well too. I know it's some audio issues, Professor, because I know Trouble was saying that I sounded kind of choppy to her, so I don't know exactly how I sound in the actual space. If it's choppy or not, guys. I went ahead and I just updated the newest version of Twitter in the Google App Store. So if you guys have an Android and you're trying to speak, bro, I'm not sure if you have an Android or not, but you may want to try to go ahead and get that update on the Google App Store. If not, DJ, I don't know, with the iPhone, they would have to go to Apple, right, and get the update there. I'm not sure if Apple has any updates available at this time, but if you're trying to speak, guys, you're definitely going to have to try to probably get the newest Twitter update. And let's just be honest, even the newest Twitter update is still garbage at this point in time. So it ain't going to do a hell of a lot better. But at least if you are trying to speak or come up in the space and speak, it may make things a little bit better. It may take you a couple times to get up here, and it may take you a little bit for your sound to come in as well, too. So that's the only thing I can say at this point is just go ahead and guys, and just go ahead and try to get that newest update. Well, I definitely want to get you to come on up here. So I know you may be busy at that too, but whenever you get a chance, if you get a chance, go ahead and just update and update it and see if what'll happen or whatever. At the very worst, I don't think anything worse can happen than what's going on right now for you. So definitely go ahead and do that. And yeah, man, like San Francisco and LA, they out their damn minds. Like they're telling the federal government, basically they're telling the federal government that, hey, we'll go ahead and we'll allow you to get these people if we see fit. And the federal government is dumb enough that they actually going along with it. So I'm with Original on that as well too. Like I thought the damn federal government superseded everybody. If the federal government like, yo, we coming to get them, if the feds come and get you, if the police got you, the feds like, look, we finna go ahead and take this person anyways. The sheriffs and the regular police can't say, well, you know what, we're gonna keep them here. And no, you go with the damn feds. So now you got these people tell you, well, unless it's the absolutely worst thing imaginable, then we'll let you go or whatever. So I don't know what the hell they talking about here, but they pretty much they telling ICE and everybody else exactly where to go and where to get off at. So only in these actual sanctuary cities do you get this attitude that they telling people what they can and cannot do. And this is not just out west as well too. We saw Chicago under Lori Lightfoot's leadership was a major sanctuary city, and it's not to say that it was all on Lori Lightfoot, because for a while they was getting to that point anyway. We see in DC, you see DeSantis, he and him and Abbott, Florida and Texas, they constantly kept taking these migrants and sending them up north to these northern cities, to DC, to New York. They were sending them everywhere that they could and stuff like that. Of course, that was all for political theater as well too, but nonetheless, they were sending these people up there to these states as well too. So it's one of those things that you got actual cities and stuff. Now when the people do come up there, they're supposed to be these are sanctuary cities. They got their arms open for people to come up there. But as soon as they get hit with a wave of them, then they're like, well, we don't have the resources, and we don't have the money, and we don't have this and that. Well, the whole country don't have the resource and the money and this and that or whatever too. So that's what people are trying to tell you. Like, we got to put a curb on this actual illegal immigration that's coming in the country. It's one thing when you're dealing with legal immigration. It's a whole nother thing when you're dealing with illegal immigration. And even legal immigration needs to be curbed to a point. And I'm not just talking about the Caribbean as well too. People always want to put the Caribbean and Africa. I'm talking about the ones coming out of Europe as well too. The ones coming out of Europe, and they always get a pass because they've been coming over here for the longest. The immigration, and we see Ukraine. Let's wait and see that after this war really winds down, how many Ukrainians going to be coming over to America as well too. So like I said, legal immigration needs to be curbed, and illegal immigration altogether, you got to go ahead and put a stop to that. You just can't have people rushing the border and rushing cities and stuff like that as well too. So Paris, how you doing? Go ahead and unmute your mic. I know it's been a little delay in the speech and the sound as well too. So Paris, hopefully you can hear me. Just keep trying, because even our other two speakers, when they finally got up here, it was a little stalled. It was a little bit.
You're in the matrix now for real. You're in the matrix for real now, bro. Yeah, just go ahead and speak, Mama. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm in the matrix. Okay. See if you could get Rella up here.
All right.
Hey, is she speaking, DJ? Because I can't hear. She is. Hey, Professor, original DJ, can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Hold on a minute, Paris. Hey, yeah, Newstoter, I think you're in the matrix, bro. You might have to drop out and come back up.
If I drop out, the space is going to end, though, right?
And run out. No. We up there.
No, I'm saying.
No, you got 60 seconds to come back up.
So what I need to do, hit end?
Twitter app out.
Okay, you say all in one?
Hold on, brother. I can barely hear you. You're in the matrix.
Okay.
No, listen to me, bro. You're in the matrix. Your phone is on robot mode.
Okay.
So just drop down all in one year shit, but come back in 60 seconds, man.
All right.
And rejoin the room.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you got 60 seconds to come back up after you close it out. All right. Damn, go ahead, Paris. Go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. It's just Tyler's. No, it's just Tyler's side. It's just Tyler. He's something wrong with his side, but go ahead. For sure, I never know. You could go ahead and actually speak until Tyler come back up here, but I'll say the same thing over here in Jersey. I'm in the Brick City. Shout out to Newark. You already know what it is. Shout out to New York. And at the end of the day, Governor Murphy and Roz Cohn J. Baraka, Mayor of Newark, turned Newark, New Jersey first into a sanctuary city. Nobody asked your Negro ass to do that shit. And then Phil Murphy, who's a fucking Bostonian, not a Jerseyan, came down and did the exact same shit and turned the state into a sanctuary state. Nobody asked for this shit. So it's like, hold up, the only people that is hurting is our Negro asses up here right now. Because every nigga I know ain't got a job right now, yo. Real shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, can you still not hear me, DJ?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can't pass. Can you hear Newstoter? Yeah, it could be your headphone thing, bro.
I don't got the headphones on.
Yeah, let the system finish real quick. Let the system
Go
finish.
ahead. Okay, guys, on they're having an issue. I'm having an issue. I know you can hear DJ when he actually speaks, but they can't hear me in the space at this moment. So I'm trying to fix this right now. I got the space actually mute, but they can actually they can hear each other. They just can't hear me. Nobody can hear me in the space for whatever reason. So I'm trying to clear this up with an all-in-one on the phone and see what's going on real quick and try to get back up in there, because I absolutely, like I said, these Twitter spaces have been just trash lately, man. They have just been trash. So I'm trying to go ahead and get back up in there and get everything working again.
Sure on that, mama. Yeah, I definitely got some information to smash on that. Coon ass nigga. Corey Coon Booker too. We ain't forget about you. Or Donald Payne Coon Jr. too. We ain't forgetting about you either.
Yeah, DJ's talking, but I got it mute, but they can't hear me, so.
Okay, he must have dropped back out trying to fix his phone again. Hey, brother, I sent you a DM too, sis. Yeah, so with that being said, yeah. So last year, So we got some new coons on the move. Check this out, y'all. So until time.
Yeah, y'all can hear me on YouTube, but in the space they can't hear me. The other speakers couldn't hear me. I was talking over them. So DJ's speaking right now, but it's on mute. But y'all can hear me on YouTube, but the people in the space, they can't hear me. So I'm trying to get that fixed right now.
I ain't never heard y'all coons talking about reparations in those 7 years that I've been talking about it, specifically here in New Jersey. And then if you are for Black liberation and as far as us coming together, why is everybody that work in your New Jersey Institute organization ain't Black, or at least 50%? Most of these jokers that he worked with are Hispanic or white. And back when they had the New Jersey Institute of Social Justice Reparations March over here in Newark, New Jersey on Juneteenth just last year, it ain't nothing but Hispanics out here talking about reparations. Like, who the hell is y'all giving reparations to these motherfuckers? You got white people out here with Pan-African flags and shit talking about reparations, yo. But ain't no Negroes here. And the ones that's here, y'all talking about reparations for all. This is a problem, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm arguing with a so-called Native American Black dude right now. If you Indian, then that means you ain't Negro Black. Y'all got to start with that shit, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a difference, damn it. And then it don't matter if some of our folks that were enslaved wound up immigrating into an Indian family. Do them Black Negro Indians, do they get any type of reparations from the government through the Indian settlements? No, nigga. They don't. So now you see some of them trying to actually cross back over to the Freeman Negro side. This shit's hilarious. But go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
Hey, can you hear me any? You still can't hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
What about original?
I hear you, bro.
Oh, okay.
You sound better now, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, man, because I thought y'all could hear me fine, and then all of a sudden DJ was like, "Yo, we can't hear you" and stuff. So I didn't even know at the point. But everybody on YouTube like, "Yeah, we can hear you." I like, "Yeah, but the people in the space can't hear me because even when I muted the mic, they can hear DJ talking stuff, but they couldn't hear me." So yeah, it looks like everything is straightened out real quick, guys. So I missed what Paris had to say too. I couldn't hear anything that she said. So. I was able to do the all-in-one, and then I just also cleared the cache out on Twitter as well too. So maybe I did all-in-one a couple times.
Right. Now that's good. We hear you now. Go ahead, bro. But yeah, Scripture Paris just came up and dropped some fire about New York. What's going on with the sanctuary cities up there? And I'm just speaking on the Jersey sanctuary city stuff. So like I try to tell our folks that's living in other parts of the country, whether it be somewhere in the South or far West California. We've been dealing with this on the Northeast Coast in the way that y'all, it's been ground zero for over 30 years. So this shit is a problem, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, I hate that I missed the sister as well too, because I wanted to hear what she had to say. So, damn, too bad on that. I know Rella was having some.
I don't know why she dropped out. I told her to stay up here. I don't know why she dropped out. I told her to stay up here.
That's cool. Maybe she might. Maybe she may come back later on if possible. Oh, here she come. Hopefully she. I see her requesting to speak now.
Pissing up on Newstoter. Hey, y'all. When you next up, if you can get your ass up.
I was about to say, what's up with Sister Rilla, man? We got to get her up here because, I haven't heard from her in a minute. So we got out
we trying to get up here. Paris, I'm sorry I missed you. I was having some audio issues. So I know that DJ said he was going in. Can you hear me, Paris? Can you hear me, DJ? Oh Lord! Don't tell me this thing done start.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm like, don't tell me this thing started back again. So, maybe Paris say she's finished it.
Hold on, Paris. Just hold on. Hey, Tyler, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Tyler?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can't hear Paris though.
No, I can't hear Paris. She was speaking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
See if unmute and see if.
I'm not sure.
See if Original and Professor them can hear me. Can Original and Professor them hear me?
Yeah, they said they can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, Newstoter.
Okay.
I can hear you, and I can hear Miss Paris too.
What in the world? Original, can you hear me?
Same here.
So Original, you hear me too?
I can hear you and Paris.
Damn. But I can't hear Paris.
I can hear you.
It's on you, Paris. You monkey in the middle, bull. Sorry. Oh my God. New York in the building, Brooklyn.
Okay, real quick. Anybody in the space that can hear Newstoter, just put a hand up or something. Yeah, anybody in the space that can hear me, put your hand up real quick. Okay, Nap say he can hear me. What about you, Re-Rob? Baby sister say they can hear me. Ray can hear me. So okay, Trouble can hear me. Okay, so like some of the people, our folks, they can hear me and stuff. So I don't know what it was with Pat. Re-Rob say she can hear me. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. It seemed like we both like, I don't know, when she comes up, she couldn't hear me or whatever. So now, let me give a shout out to my girl Re-Rod. Thank you, Re-Rod, for your contribution on Cash App, sister. I appreciate that. OG says they can hear me as well too. So real quick, y'all, let me go ahead before we start having some more issues here. Let me go ahead real quick and just touch up on this thing, this world news going on with Uganda, and we're gonna get back to the actual sanctuary cities as well too. But I got to go ahead and drop this real quick because we got to do the world news as well too, and just I want to get you guys' perspective on this, how you feel. From Black Enterprises up in the actual Jumbotron as well, too. It says, new bill proposed in Uganda brings on severe penalties to members of the LGBTQ plus community, including death and life sentences. The LGBT plus community in Africa just took another L in the fight for their rights. The Bloomberg reported that officials in Uganda just approved a bill with stricter laws against gay people. The new legislation will issue harsher penalties outlawing homosexuality, including death and life sentences in prison. Documents list same-sex intercourse with persons under 18, an offender who is HIV positive, or a person who even identifies as LGBTQ as aggravated homosexuality. While the legislation hasn't been implemented as an official law, Ugandan President Museveni, who is a strong critic of LGBTQ, is expected to sign into law. The almost unanimous vote happened Tuesday night in a packed chamber with only 2 out of a close of 400 representatives voting against it. Congratulations, Speaker Anita Among said, according to NPR. Whatever we're doing it for the people of Uganda. LGBTQ advocates like U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken criticized the vote in a tweet. He said the bill will undermine fundamental human rights of all Ugandans and could reverse gains in the fight against HIV and AIDS. After hearing the news, advocacy groups followed in the Secretary of State's footsteps, making statements against the ruling. If signed into law by the president, it will render lesbian, gay, and bisexual people in Uganda criminals for simply existing, for being who they are. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, said it could provide a systematic violation of nearly all the human rights and serve to incite people against each other. International rights for members of the community are facing increased pressure as some countries are doubling down on stricter LGBTQ laws. Kenya's president recently opposed pro-LGBTQ rulings by the nation's top court, while officials in Ghana are considering placing legislation against gay people as well. So, yeah, we had to go ahead and touch up on that as well, too. That was making the rounds yesterday. National news, world news, global news. It was making the news on social media. Like I say, I don't, what people do is pretty much their own thing. I'm not an advocate of same-sex marriage. I'll just go ahead and say that, though I do know gay people. I'm sure we all related to somebody gay, know somebody gay, live next to somebody gay, got gay people in your family, got gay people in your community, got gay people at your church, went to school with some gay people, whatever. But I would say this right here. I think you can put in the law that, hey, if you don't want to have people getting married or you want to have certain provisions against same-sex unity or whatever, that's one thing. I think you're taking it a step too far when you're sitting up here potentially talking about, I'm not talking about with the underage thing, but I'm talking about if you got 2 consenting adults and you're talking about arresting them or putting them in prison or even potentially death penalties, I think that's going a little bit too far. I don't think it's going a little bit too far. That's going way too far. Like I say, that's not my flavor. That's not my cup of tea. But at the same time, I don't think you should be going up here and imprisoning people and potentially death penalties and stuff like that over, same-sex union. If you don't want it legal, just say, hey, it's going to be illegal. We're not going to look at this as a marriage. We believe marriage is between a man and a woman. Go ahead and say that. Go ahead and put that in law or whatever. But I don't know if you should be doing this. I just really don't think when you're sitting up here talking about the death penalty and you're talking about life, you're talking about giving somebody life in prison for this right here. Like I say, for 2 consenting adults. I'm not talking about minors. I'm talking about 2 consenting adults. I just, I think that's beyond a slippery slope right there. That's just my personal opinion. Like I say, I think that marriage is between a man and a woman. I strongly believe that. I've always believed that. But at the same time, I'm not finna go out there and I'm not finna persecute somebody because that's what two grown people want to do. I'm just being real. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes. Yeah, what I want to say is this. I mean, you're right. No one should be harmed, but at the time, people need to understand that, just because someone don't agree with your platform does not mean that they hate you. Because, as I said many times before, some love to call people this homophobic and transphobic. And as I always tell them, a phobia is an irrational fear of something or someone, and it has to be clinically diagnosed. So, but homosexuality was in the diagnostic and statistical manual, and it was a plot and a plot scheme and scam to get it taken out. So, for them to call somebody crazy, they need to look at themselves in the mirror. And I saw that, but see, here's the thing. This thing in Uganda, this goes back to the little big-eared bastard Barack. He was over there telling the African countries that they had to accept this, you see. And see, here's where it gets really crappy. Now, America goes around the world telling other countries about their human rights issue when they have their own human rights issues in this country because of the way they treat us. So how in the hell are you going to go out here and tell someone else what they should be doing and you're not treating black people right in this country? And I'm not speaking up for anybody else. They got to do that for themselves. But I'm speaking about U.S. descendants of chattel slavery and how we are treated. And see, just today, this Olympic governing has said that they have banned these alleged transgender people, or so-called women, if they became transgender after they passed puberty. Because it is not fair for women to go out here and basically compete with a man. Those women can't beat those men in these sports. You had this guy, he competed in this swim meet over here at Georgia Tech. Now, when they showed this fool on the news, he towered over these little girls. And I can imagine some of those little girls, they've probably been swimming since they were like 4 or 5 years old. But here, and they swim for so long, but here now, they have to compete with a man. They can't, that is not a competition. And you see all these people in the news and whatever, they want to promote this stuff, and then they get an attitude with people who say, well, that's not fair. That's not fair to the women, to these little girls who are trying to, win their swim meets. But now you're going to see, all these things. They're going to have these men parading as women saying that they won this meet. And that is not fair to them. And as far as Jim Crow Joe, there was an article with now this is what Jim Crow, see, I didn't vote for Jim Crow Joe, but there's an article, because I did archive it, but this is from the Associated Press. And it says, Jim Crow Joe declares gay rights his number one legislative priority, but yet he had nothing for us. And this is what they've been. Now I'm not mad at other people who may need other demographics that may need legislation. But damn it, I'm not putting any other group before my own. So that was his number one legislative priority, was to his gay rights. And see, I mean, with me, I don't even go into all these letters. I just say gay. Now, if you want, for those who want to use the letters, fine, knock yourself out. But I'm not using those letters. I've had someone to get upset. I said, well, you don't control this mouth or this tongue, so you may well just shut the hell up, because I ain't changing. And that's that. But yeah, but I'm saying that, man, but we have to begin to confront them and see, and we have to begin to confront them on all of this, because the issue is that, see, they've used us for decades to pass legislation to protect except for us. Anything they wanted to do for us, it came under this minority crap, which means that every other demographic, including people with disabilities, they get all the resources, and if there are any crumbs left over, oh, that's for you as descendants of chattel slavery. They can have a little crumb. We didn't need that anyway. And so my position is that we're gonna have to start throwing this stuff up in their faces, just like the black boy that's running for mayor in Chicago. He came out and said what he gonna do for the illegal aliens who can't vote him into office, and ain't said a damn thing what he gonna do for you as descendants of chattel slavery. So it's like I did see where one of the black candidates has come out and endorsed the white guy. I'm not mad at him. I'm really not, because my thing is, if the black candidate has shown you he don't give a damn about you, he gonna take care of everybody else. I'm not mad at anybody that's gonna do what they think is best for themselves. I'm really not mad at them, you know. But I think people need to seriously look at how legislation is put out there, because see, I have a copy of Jim Crow Joe's platform for the gay community. All through the platform, he was demographic specific as to what any laws or funding would be for. All through this, he cited those letters. You know, it was like he just cited those letters all through this platform. But then with the platform that he had for us, he had two. One was called an agenda for the black community, and the other one was called Lift Every Voice. How he want to try to use our culture to subdue us and thinking that he's going to do something for us. But when it came to identifying who would benefit, it had like minority, people of color, low income, that is not us. Why couldn't you say black or you as descendants of chattel slavery or something? They don't think about us. And see, because of these dysfunctional bitches and bastards we got representing us, yeah, I said it. I really don't give it. I'm pissed off tonight. But they're not going to do anything for us. But it was something I may have to look for it, that little monkey-looking thing, Sheila Jackson Lee. She don't come out. She's supporting something that's not in our. I forget what it was, but she's supporting something that's not in our. It's not in our best interest. And we got to start calling these people out. This is the one crucial thing that I like about. This is one thing I like about social media. It allows us to connect with one another where we're in different states and cities. And so that way we can begin to plan and adjust ourselves accordingly as to how we're going to respond to these stupid people. Because they have been allowed to run rampant for too long. It's time to rein them in. It's not time. We don't need to rein them in. We need to get rid of them. Get rid of all of them and put some fresh people in there that's going to speak up for us. Because they're not going to do it. Sheila's not going to do anything, and these others not going to do it either. We have to make sure that we really ride them, do what we got to do, and make sure that if they're going to be in there, they're going to have to represent us. Because this is insane. And I know DJ mentioned something about these so-called Indians. But see, there's an article that it was an expose, and this is the title of it. It's entitled "Claiming to be Cherokee with White Ancestry," and it's these these contractors in California. Well, they're across the country. They claim to be Cherokee with white ancestry, but you look at them, they just look like white folks. And so they get like when this article was done, let's see, this is like 2019. They was getting like $300 million in these contracts from the federal government. Meanwhile, U.S. descendants of chattel slavery not getting a damn thing. we get nothing. And then they always want to come up like, oh, well, we're the indigenous people of it. No, you're not. You know, it's time for us to start calling these so-called Indians out too. They've never been our friend. No. And because there was and I keep forgetting I got the email this guy. He wrote a book, and I got his book in there somewhere. But anyway, there was some Indians complaining about something. And I think they were on a talk show or something. And this white guy called in and said, what y'all complaining about? He said, y'all not the indigenous people of this land. There was black people already here. And when y'all came and y'all started acting up, that's why Dr. Park said, we don't have any friends. And we better start acting like it. And I'll land with that.
Okay, appreciate that. Real quick, guys, up in the Jumbotron is a Newstoter newsletter. We had nobody subscribe to the newsletter in a minute, man. So we got to get some subscriptions on that newsletter. We also got to get some subscriptions on that YouTube channel as well, too, man. So we're gonna need everybody that's up in this space that's not already subscribed. It's in the Jumbotron. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really, did you give me a thumbs down when I say I need you to subscribe? Did you? Oh, okay. Cause I saw like a.
I had to reboot my stuff, so I'm turning on my hand.
Okay. I saw the thumb. I'm like, well, damn, what you? I'm like, what you trying to tell us here?
No. I can't stand when you have to fix all the stuff and then you have to change the hands back to, melanated hands, and you gotta go through everything. I'm sorry.
No, you good. I figured it. I figured it had to be a slip up there, but yeah, y'all, we need some.
I can't put the thumbs down.
No, I'm sorry. Look, hey everyone.
Well, what's up? Hey, Newstoter, I was finally able to get a confirmation for the newsletter.
Okay.
I had already joined the.
Yeah, because I'm finna say that's automated, so it's nothing like once you all you gotta do is put your address in there, and it's supposed to give you a link or whatever. It better give you a link, and I'm paying monthly on it. So, but yeah, y'all.
It finally came through.
But real quick, y'all. Real quick, hold on, real quick, DJ. Real quick, hey DJ, real quick. Let me go ahead because I'm trying to get all people to go to the actual YouTube channel. Let me see how many spots over there. There's 1, 2. Man, where we at? Hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We are about like 6 spots over, or make that the 4th over from the left. We got the YouTube channel up in there, and we got the newsletter over there on the far left-hand side. So guys, go ahead and subscribe to that, please. We need the subscriptions. We need it. We need to go ahead and grow whatever. Trying to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers at like 607 or something like that. So we got to go ahead and try to get this thing to 1,000 this year. We in March? We got plenty of time to hit 1,000, but we need to go ahead and hit that 1,000. Also, we need you to go ahead, if you can, donate $1, donate $2 if you can. Support the actual Black media. We need that support. The content we put out is massive. The spaces, the actual platform, Newstoter.com is the largest Black American, the largest Black-owned media news curation platform today in America. If you guys just got $1 that you can donate, we definitely greatly appreciate it. Not many donations this week, I'll say that much, whatever, but our people that have been able to donate, we definitely appreciate it, but we definitely haven't been getting a whole bunch of love this week. So if you can, please go ahead. We support Black-owned business ourselves. All of the content that you guys see is coming from Black-owned sources. The vast majority. We do have some white sources on there too, because we have some of our own curators that curate from some of the mega media people, the Foxes, the CNN, but our value sources are from Black-owned content ourselves that we are promoting for free. So please go ahead. If you can, please think about just donate $1 or $2. If you have that to go ahead and spare, we definitely greatly appreciate it. That's on Cash App. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you don't have a Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up there as well too. So it is greatly appreciated, people. We definitely need it. We want to keep putting this content out there. Like Original was saying, he subscribed to the newsletter. Newsletters ain't free. Web hosting ain't free. We got to do a lot of different things to go ahead and get this content out there. So like I say, we're definitely not trying to break the bank, but if you got a $1 to spare, please think about just contributing and donate to Newstoter.com. It'll be put to use. It is greatly appreciated. And we are putting out this content on a daily basis. Monday through Sunday through Saturday, really. Every 7 days a week, we put out content. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there. Once again, the Cash App is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. DJ, what you was gonna say real quick?
No, brother, hold up, man. That was me, Christopher. I'm trying to get you up, Christopher, but I think it's your phone, man. You might have to check for updating your phone store, bro.
Yeah, I tried to get him up a couple times, so he's gonna have to update it. Go ahead, Professor.
Yeah, I was about to say, Newstoter, I've been telling you, man, make sure you advertise that Venmo and that PayPal for the ones that don't have a Cash App.
Oh yeah, I try to let them know that's why I always tell them that if you don't have a Cash App, the PayPal and the Venmo, that's up there in the Jumbotron as well too. So we keep that up there because I know most people do have a Cash App, but for those that don't, we have that up there as well too.
Family, I'm finna go back and donate this money on that PayPal. I'm about to go take care of this PayPal right now.
Well, Professor, you definitely always support, so definitely appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Q and Ray up here too as well too. So Ray, matter of fact, I'm gonna get to Ray because Ray has the most connection issue. So Q, I'm gonna get to you, but let me get to Ray real quick because I'm not sure how long Ray gonna be here. So Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's going on, everybody? I'm gonna speak really quickly because I keep getting dropped. I've been dropped like 4 times. So about Uganda, this is just my opinion. Do I agree with these people getting, life sentences, death sentences, whatever the case may be? I absolutely do not. But at the same time, I do understand because Uganda is looking at exactly what is going on in the United States of America. Because over here, it started off with, we just want to get married. That was the whole thing. We just want to love each other, blah, 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 blah. We were okay with it. And then it slowly moved on to you have to make our cakes. You have to make our gay cakes or whatever. All right, cool. They started with that. And it went from, you got to use our pronouns. Allow minors to dance for us and drag. Let teachers choose your gender. Choose your child's gender. And then what's the newest thing? The gender affirming care. Where, cutting skin from different parts of, the baby's bodies and stuff. So they see what is going on in the United States of America and do not want that for their country. I feel like this is their way of trying to keep their nation safe. And I'm just going to land there before I get dropped.
All right, Ray, appreciate that. And like I say, I don't have a problem with them putting in legislation, trying to stop it or whatever, because that's their right, that's prerogative, and they should go ahead and do what they feel. Like I said, I just don't want to see somebody get hurt or even in prison behind something like that. But go ahead and definitely, because you got the Western world pretty much telling everybody about what you need to do and this and that or whatever. And like Original say, you got all this human right love for everybody else, and you care about everybody else. Meanwhile, you've been beating the living tar out of black folks over here for as long as we can remember. And you sitting up here and you want to judge everybody and talk about everybody and their human rights and how they're violating human rights and this and that or whatever. When you one of the goddamn biggest human right violators that the world has ever seen. So you're the last person on the earth to be sitting up here telling anybody anything. So I'm definitely with you on that, Ray. But like I said, I just don't want to see somebody, people get hurt or killed in prison for their life or whatever. Like I say, I don't support it, but you know what I'm saying? I do know people that's like that or whatever. And, if that's what they want to do, what two grown people want to do, hey, that's what they want to do. But I don't think they should be put in prison. And I definitely don't think they should be killed behind it either as well, too. So that's just my personal opinion. But definitely. Let me go ahead and get real quick to Q. I know you've been up here, and I got to get to my girl Rella, because Rella actually she's been trying to come up here for the longest, but we finally got sister up here, so I'm glad you up here as well, y'all. And don't forget too, we got 2 topics we going back and forth on: sanctuary cities and the Ugandan LGBTQ problem. So whenever y'all want to go back to the sanctuary cities, we here for that as well too. Go ahead, Q. You got it.
Hey, what's up? I'm just gonna be honest when it comes to the whole Uganda thing. I'm not for fratricide in any form or fashion when it comes to black people among other black people. I don't feel like we should handle each other in that manner. Uganda is looking this side of town as a predictor of what's going to happen next if they give some kind of leeway to this narrative, because it all started off small until it began to snowball. The next thing you know, they talk about gender affirming care, which is basically these adults projecting their desires onto kids and trying to, fashion them accordingly to that sort of lifestyle. And, a lot of people really aren't with that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't care from what side of town you hail from. Many people do not go along with that narrative. And it shouldn't be went along with. I mean, there was somebody's mic is hot. I'm not sure who's.
Yeah, somebody, DJ, your mic might be, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, but, I mean, when it comes to all this stuff, a lot of this stuff is buck breaking. It's basically trying to make men more effeminate so that they're easier to attack. I mean, I remember this stuff when I was growing up, the whole metrosexual, queer after straight guy kind of stuff, where they try to make that kind of stuff as cool as possible. I didn't know what direction that thing was even going down. I thought that was some kind of avenue to where, women wanted men to be more, in touch with their quote-unquote feminine side, to be more open to talk about this and that. If I would have known this is what it would have become later down the line, no way in hell would I have been on board with that. And, I'm not for black people attacking other black people. I'm just not. We have too many people trying to kill us already. The last thing we need is infight. And I feel like we need to be, we can't allow this kind of stuff to be a narrative among us. I'm just not for that whole, outlawing the whole gay people's existence. I feel like they should. I feel like they should give them at least a space to be themselves. I grant everybody their humanity, but just don't let it get out of control. I mean, we don't have much say this side of town, so they can show anything on television and mainstream whatever they feel. But I do feel like when it comes to this kind of stuff, limits can be enforced because we're the ones that call the shots that side of town. But don't deny these people their basic humanity. But there's a LGBTQ agenda at work. It's trying to make black males as passive as possible. So that we let everything go. No matter what happens to us, we always, let everything go. That stuff can't be normalized. But that's all I have to say when it comes to that.
All right, appreciate that, Q, and I agree with everything you just said. Put the line in the sand and let people know exactly what you're going to do in terms of politically, what you're going to allow in your country. Don't let the West sit over here and dictate to you and tell you exactly what you got to do. But at the same time, we are a people, and we've always been a people that had humanity in us as well too. Let's not get to the point that we lose all humanity. Like I say, I don't agree with it, but don't go ahead and let's just not. We got too many issues to worry about. Like you said, as long as it's not getting out of line or whatever, and it's consenting adults, and we're not sitting up here talking about putting boys in dresses and making them up and having girls take their breasts down and all this other kind of stuff like that the West is telling us is okay, and that there's no such thing as a sex and there's non-binary and all this other nonsense that they've been talking about, they've been pushing for the last 50 some damn years in this country. I don't have an issue with it or whatever. You can't control what people are gonna do. You really can't. And that's not our thing. So I don't want to get to the point that that we're sitting up here and people living in fear or whatever. If that's what they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. I don't think we've ever been that type of people or whatever. To go ahead and hunt people down to that nature, whatever. Like I say, I'm not gonna vote for certain things or whatever, and I've never voted for it. But at the same time, if somebody and they're a grown person and that's what they're gonna do, I'm not going to supervise them or whatever. As long as, like you say, it's in check, it's not going overboard, Q, or whatever. What in the hell else? I mean, it's truthfully not my business. As long as you're not putting it on the kids and everything else. Truthfully, I really don't give a shit with all the other things that we got to focus on. Like I said, that's going to be a minority of our people anyways. So, but to sit up here and put certain things in a place like that, I just think you got to watch this right here. And don't be surprised if the whole wrath of the Western nation don't come down on Uganda's ass either for this right here. Because they're trying, and I feel Uganda for pushing it and stopping it. Like, hey, we're not going to just let y'all shove this agenda down our throat, because that's exactly what the West and America and Europe has been doing it for forever. Europe started it, and America slowly start implementing it to what we got today or whatever. So And then not only that, like you saying that they want to go ahead and more than anything, they want to buck break a bunch of niggas. Let's just be for real. They want to buck break a bunch of niggas. They want to go ahead and get black men to that point as well too. So I definitely I'm definitely, like I say, I don't support doing the violence to the people. I don't support putting people in prison and stuff like that for that or whatever. I like I say, I believe marriage is between a man and a woman, and I always will believe that. I don't care who disagrees, and I'm never going to vote against that. I'm not going to sit up here and say if you were born a boy that deep down inside you're really a girl and all this other nonsense that they're telling us or whatever. If you was born a damn boy, you're going to be a boy till you damn die. And I don't care if you slit your pecker down and create a JJ out of it, you're still going to be a goddamn boy. End of the story. Same with the girls as well too. But I can't stop what people gonna do. So let me go ahead and kick it to my girl Rella. Rella, I'm glad to have you up here. What's going on?
Hey, Newstoter, everybody. I'm actually getting over a sinus infection, so I'm kind of glad that Twitter was acting stupid because it gave me a chance to kind of really rest my voice. I honestly, the topic in regards to the sanctuary cities, I want to start there first. Immigration has been an issue since. Did I say hello to everybody? I think I did. Yeah, I want to make sure I did that. Immigration has been an issue, I believe, since 1875. And the United States has had and have still on the books legislation like the Immigration Act of 1875, the Page Act, and the Act of 1924. And if you look at all these acts, these are acts that were actually created so that Europeans who were already here during the colonial era could open up the floodgates for other Europeans who were part of their families to come here and receive citizenship and go through the process of becoming Americans at the founding of after the Revolutionary War. The sad part about it is Roy Beck's book, The Back of the Hiring Line, paints a picture prior to Obama on how white Americans who have a connection with immigration in their families benefit and also know why they need a lower class of people to constantly come in and be the buffer class for profit. Now, you can say Obama exacerbated it or he assisted it, but he was not the first. An original, I love you. But we have to go all the way back to prior presidents prior to him because they all had an administration cabinet that changed hands from Republicans to Democrats and even some independents that voted on laws for immigration to keep the circular motion of what we now have is a abscess tumor that has now gotten so bad it's actually spread. I was talking to my pops yesterday, and he was telling me, he said, he remembered when he was younger, Latinos was always talking about how they was going to come back and try and take over, come back and take their land back. And I remember hearing that in the workforce, talking to a few Latino workers, and they would make those comments, prior to Viva La Raza. So, and when we look at immigration, people tend to look at immigration only from the lens of, oh, it's just all Latinos, when it's actually everyone. It's everyone who are not American descendants, and they are displacing Americans at such a high number that we really haven't wrapped our heads around what that actually looks like. I think on the surface, because of the things that we're seeing right now with the Office of New Americans that's being developed, with Grace Mean, and a lot of those politicians. And if you look at the politicians, I think there's one black guy, but there are several white, Indian, and European politicians who are Americans now, and they are pushing for more immigration. And some of those politicians are Republicans, and I need people to realize this. You have to understand that we are really in a war where if we do not get these people unseated. I mean, unseated. And white folks who always hollering and crying on the internet about how they need to take their country back aren't even in the position themselves. Think about it. They're being the poor whites. We're not talking about the 1%ers or any of those folks. We're talking about the poor whites because, see, they've been in a position where they would literally spite their nose to see black person or black American succeed or have any type of financial stability in their environment, in the workplace, in their daily lives. That's why you have Karens and Kens running around and you see their behaviors. And when you look at all these things, these people have literally allowed immigration to become what it was. And now the impact is so bad, even they are feeling it. To the point where they're domestic terrorists, January 6th in, the Capitol building, because they're so upset and want to put feces all over the place, instead of actually being patriots that they call themselves and participating in making sure that all Americans who are American descendants are able to thrive, and that we actually get a chance to reverse a lot of the immigration policies that have hurt us. So they play a big part in it. And then we also have our Democratic shields, as you call them, or they call them the boule class. But we also have the ignorant class, too, that does not realize, those that don't want to vote, that the impact of what's happening, and those who vote aimlessly without showing up to referendum meetings and getting involved in your community, that you also have a hand in why immigration has gotten so bad. Because you think that someone else should take care of the business that you should have been taken care of in the first place, regardless of adversity. And I think we are now at an impasse. We're at an impasse now where all of us are going to get wiped off the damn map, because you got a Chuck Schumer, who will vocalize himself saying, immigration, we need open borders. We need more immigrants to come in and create a working class. And it's such a slap in the face. When I hear someone say Office of New Americas in sanctuary cities, I think about all the murders, all the bodies, all the mothers, our fathers, or families, black families, who have, in some white poor families, bless their hearts, who would rather struggle than realize they need resources from their country that their country is not even willing to give them, but willing to give people from other places just so that they can displace them. That is genocide on top of genocide. And so, we're already going through a genocide with our own people, and then you're bringing in other people who are going to put that on top of black folks, and then white folks are feeling it now. Now they want you to try to gather together and hold hands and kumbaya. And you know what I say? Go hold your own balls. Go hold your own balls. Because you decided to play, look at that ninja over there, right? And we don't like these ninjas. Let's go and lynch everyone that we can. To now it's, we don't like different races of people, but we letting them all in through the country. And if you look at history, white men have been the main contributor as to why immigration has plagued the United States. And to me, they are the least patriots of this country. So when I hear them say MAGA, MAGA all day, they are the traitors of this country. White communities that are poor shambles, these are the same people who vote politicians in that actually sign off on bills that allow immigration to be what it is today. So we can't just say Obama. See, I'm the type of player, I look at the whole chessboard. And you got people in Congress, Senate, that are in Washington and on the state and local levels. And they're the same ones that are married to different Asian people, different Latinos, talking about how, the blacks are so lazy. Same ones. The same ones will come smile in your face, ask you for your vote, and then turn around and say, "Oh, well, we need a sanctuary city." I am in a Virginia is now a blue state. However, you still have Republican politicians that run the state, and they're still able to usher in a sanctuary city. None of this was ever an issue for Black Americans. They never thought about a sanctuary city for us. You know what they did? They segregated us, and that was probably the best thing for us. We were safer. However, they still came into our communities and caused racial terror. You don't see them doing that into the immigrant communities. They let them come into the United States and set up shop. Little Haiti, little China, this, that, and the third. All these little, since when the biggest country in the world with the biggest military, the damn cartel is running almost all or not half of California, Nevada, and the West Side. So I'm going to lay that there. And the other piece of it, I had a discussion on my TikTok about the LGBTQ issue. I always believe marriage is between a man and woman because I am a hetero woman. I am a woman that loves her Black men. I love seeing, babies being born and Black families thriving and surviving. I'm not against adults who decide to live their lives the way they want to. But I am against a particular agenda that decides that it wants to entertain young children to the point where you want to now become a groomer and you are trying to influence children to live a lifestyle that at a young age, starting at 2 years old. Like Charlize Theron should have been kicked out the country for doing what she's done.
Transformers in the sky.
Right. The two little boys that she got from out of the country. She brought them back to the United States and groomed them at such a young age. No one better than her. Not even white women. Not even the friends that she has around. They champion that like as if adults had lost all their cognitive function. Was like, oh, that's so cute, whatever. But then you're looking at this like these were two-year-olds. They were young, 5-year-olds. 5-year-old boys. And I believe the same thing happened with Dwayne Wade's son, now daughter. But as people get older, there's nothing you can say. As they get older, they have to go through that cognitive process on their own. However, children should be left alone. Like, I don't see a need as to why you have adults who want to have children in their space doing adult things. Children are supposed to be doing children things. You're supposed to be growing them up so that they can actually go out and face the world. We're not so far gone that we don't realize that there are people who do grow up and say, hey, I felt a way when I was little, didn't know what it was, and now, I'm trying to, figure it out as an adult. That's different. But you're talking about now taking children who have no cognitive function of their sexual stature and being or just gender at all because they're kids. That's not the wavelength they on. They thinking about playing with Legos and, going to school and stuff like that, or just dealing with the pressures of school, people bullying them. There's other factors that are at play with kids, and then you have adults trying to groom it. And don't get me wrong, because remember, grooming didn't just start with the LGBTQ. You had grown adults sexually assaulting children who were hetero. So see, again, I don't play the sticky game because it sounds good to one over the other. I will step on all your toes and your nose because you want to have this is the worst than that. No, you have people who are grown adults who have agendas and they want to run them agendas because they want to be able to feel comfortable in their degeneracy. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You got an adult who feels like they want to be a degenerate and they want everybody to find that avenue, that soft spot, to be like, oh, well, we all need to have compassion. I don't have compassion for adults who play with kids. No. So, what's the other thing? I think the Uganda issue. The Uganda issue for me.
I thought that was a Uganda issue you was
was
talking.
that the same?
Like,
Was that was the same thing? My bad. I thought it was. I was reading because Trouble had posted something about. I'm thinking about the Oregon stuff. I'm sorry. Okay, yes. So I guess that was it. Thanks.
No problem. I was like, yeah, that kind of is what we're talking about. Like I said, man, my thing with the Uganda thing, like I say, I'm talking about adults. I mean, when I'm talking about, I'm not talking about kids and stuff like that. I'm talking about consenting adults that, hey, if they gonna do that, they gonna do that. I don't agree with it or whatever, but at the same time, I'm not here to chaperone grown folks at the same time. And I just, like I say, I don't believe in the actual prison and putting people and killing them and stuff like that over their sexual orientation. That I don't believe in that. Also, let me give a shout out to you, Professor. Thank you for your contribution on PayPal. Like, Professor, make sure he put the PayPal out there all the time. Like, Professor, like, hey, I don't do the Cash App, but PayPal. So, shout out to Professor.
Hey, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all now. Look, I would do the Cash App, but back in 2019, I don't know if everybody remembers, they had a data breach, and I was signed up on Cash App. I had, as a matter of fact, just signed up. And when they had that data breach that hit in 2019, right before the pandemic, I was like, oh shit, I'm closing my shit down. Because, man, they sent an email to me saying that the shit had been breached and somebody had gotten information. I said, oh, hell no. I closed my Cash App down right then. But I guess I do need to open it back up so I can send money out to the Black family, to anybody in the Black family whenever they need it. And like my boy DJ right there, I know he's Cash App. I don't know if he used PayPal. But see, I need to be able to send money to DJ. See, brother right here is a technical advisor within the community. And so we got to support this brother, and of course, Black majority down there. They the technical advisors up in this bitch. Okay. As a matter of fact, we need them to take over this Twitter shit that's fucking up. See, right now it's shit.
Professor, I just want to tell you I missed you, and that we was looking for you. I was about to put an APB out on you because we didn't know where you was, and I couldn't get back on Twitter. And I've been asking all the guys, like, where's Professor? Y'all talked to him. Ain't nobody heard from you. So I just want to let you know, just as much as you always drop love for us, that we definitely got a soft spot for you, and then I'm glad to hear from you.
Well, thank you so much, and but I'm glad you didn't call the cops, because we already know what happens when you call cops on a Black man. You might find the Black man dead or whatever the case may be. But anyway,
Word.
I'm glad you missed me, because I miss you. I miss you. And so one thing I do love is being able to communicate with the Black family. The Newstoter family is what I call this family right here, because this family is dedicated to coming into a very informative space. That's what Newstoter provides. And that's why we got to keep building up his platform. And then our brother DJ and Black Majority, we got to build up theirs. That's why I got to give it DJ and Black Majority and see, because I'm not on Cash App, so, but maybe I get back on there, eventually. So, but I do say, Black family, we definitely got to help out our people so we can build up the platform, the media platforms, and make sure that we can get our stories out there, so we can dominate. It's ours to tell. And Rilla, thank you so much. You almost put me in tears right there, but brother can't do that tears stuff. I can't do no mushy shit. Okay.
You know what? I know you on the stage with all your brothers. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? It don't make you gay if you have emotions. And I want to put it out there. Black men do cry, and Black men deserve to be seen as humans. So.
Well, thank you. That's right. I'm glad you said that, because Black men are human. We have feelings, and but at the same time, I want everybody to understand the brothers that I deal with right here, Newstoter, DJ, Black Majority, Black Pressure, Original Blood, Ray Smith. We real black men, okay? We don't play the Transformer shit. You know, more than meets than the eye and all that shit, you know, up in the sky and all that shit. We don't play that shit. That's right. I land my plane there.
Real talk, real talk. I'm glad to have Professor back as well too. I was looking for him, like, damn, where my dog at? Like, Professor be coming up to the spaces, always showing support, love. Sometimes it be me and Professor up in the spaces before anybody got up in it. So definitely glad to have my brother back up in here as well too. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man. You got family issues. You got to take a step back from social media, which ain't a bad thing at all. So let me go ahead real quick. I see my man Leon is up in here as well too. So I'm gonna go to Leon and I'm gonna get the UQ.
Oh yeah, my brother Leon. Damn, I sure didn't mean to forget him, Leon.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you wasn't gonna say it, I would.
Yo, it's like that. It's like that Eminem song. They forgot about Dre.
Oh no.
Go ahead, Leon. And DJ, real quick, hold it down for me, okay?
Go ahead. Shout out to Professor. Shout out Professor. What's good, Leon?
Yeah, what's going on, DJ, Professor Irella? I'm glad to see you back on.
Hi, Leon. How are you doing, my brother? Look, DJ, when we come in the room, you need to play that family reunion song, because every time I hear us, I have us all in the room. That's the song I be hearing in my head. No, not that one. No, the old school one.
That's the OJ.
The old, there you go, original.
Yeah, the OJ.
The original, though.
That's the classic, definitely. Well, all right. To the topic at hand. I'm gonna talk about the Uganda death penalty thing. I don't like the policy, but I look at it like this: that's their policy. I don't like with the speaker, the U.S. speaker, want to try to belittle that country on their policies, because there's a lot of policies in this country that this government has neglected, but not neglect, or just woefully refused to uphold their own policies, especially when it comes to Black Americans. So I just don't like anything at this point with this administration. I'm going to talk bad about other countries or what they do or what they don't do, and you are the main culprit that's not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or as superior as you talk about what you're doing. Sanctuary cities, Lord, all I can say about these sanctuary cities, it's a trick bag. I don't like it. They get the federal dollars, and like that one group that y'all were just talking about with that Representative Grace Ming and all them other damn immigrants. I did chime in on that, because I say, y'all get enough funding. You don't need any more. They get so much funding, it's not even funny. And they're always going to get that funding. So you don't need more funding. It's just a trick. That's another trick bag. And we got to start advocating and get going to these politicians, like the Grace Mings and stuff. Yeah, it might cause us to be, there's no blacks again. They anti-Asian hate, but you're being a detriment to the American people, especially the Black American people. So that being said, I'm just going to just say F. What I'm trying to say is, it is going to be a point that we're just going to have to say F these damn rules, and we're just going to have to just go and just do what we got to do. That's all I'm going to say. We could do it the legal way or the illegal way, because there's only going to be one or the other when the real deal goes down. Because I already see these cockatoys already talking about want to start bringing lynching back and start lynching us. Yeah, there's like 3-4 posts going on Twitter, referencing that. So I'm like, okay, well, if y'all want to go that route, we could go that route. But the only difference is
y'all might be on the other end of that noose. But I land.
All right, Leon, appreciate that. Yeah. You ain't gonna be lynching too many people in this day and age right here. So you can go ahead and get that up out your mind right now. Q, go ahead, Q, unmute your mic.
Yeah. I was thinking about something when it comes to, the whole illegal immigration stuff and how they try to use these cities really as like outposts. They try to, set this kind of stuff up to where it just happens perpetually. And the next thing you know, you're looking up at however many millions of people. And then they want to say, well, it's too many people and, they can't go back to the country they hail from because it's just too many people. I mean, how are you supposed to gather them all? I'm gonna be honest. I don't have anything against Latinos or any kind of group, but illegal immigration can't be a thing. And I feel like during these past years, Biden has really made the water hot for those who were illegal, but they didn't come in. They didn't come in on the wave that he created. I feel like he just jeopardized that whole avenue because I don't see. They said there was 10 million illegal immigrants. I don't see anything beyond that being seen as acceptable just because you don't want to quote unquote break up families. I don't think you're breaking up families. These are economic immigrants. They're coming here for a better life, and I understand it. But I'm thinking as far as locking this stuff down to where people, even if they try to sneak here, they won't be here for long. I think E-Verify is one avenue to where you have to verify your citizenship. I just feel like it has to go that route because it's becoming a runaway train. Like, what are you supposed to do at the end of the day? We can't import the entire planet. My stuff isn't about race, it's about respect, and I feel like a lot of this stuff is just flat out disrespectful. It's an avenue that's been abused for a long time. The whole, birthright citizenship stuff, that needs to be amended, that amendment, because it was meant for former slaves as far as our citizenship. Now it's being used as human trafficking. And I'm not even sure how far the tentacles of the cartel goes. Because the whole deputy gang stuff out in California, I understand that's cartel activity. That's cartel behavior. When you have deputy gangs, a gang within the precincts, that is cartel movement. I'm not saying cops can't, cape for each other in the good old boys club. We're talking about gangs to the effect of, if you don't go along, they'll do something to you. Everybody's walking around with similar tattoo like MS-13. No. We have to put a bullseye on this entire structure. I feel like the deputy gangs thing really needs to be highlighted, and they need to be thrown in the same vein as the cartels. We need to say deputy gang cartel, deputy gang cartel, deputy gang cartel, again and again to show that, hey, man, this stuff is kicking out from the southern border. Not to vilify Latinos, but we have to really make specific what's happening when it comes to illegal immigration because all the negative effects of doing mass illegal immigration is, taking hold. So that's what I'm going to say when it comes to that.
All right, thank you. M. Wilkins, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, thank you, Newstoter. Shout out to the room. Let me tell you this. As far as goes, this attack isn't new. We all know that. We all know that all the way from slavery, they were undercounting us purposefully for their benefit and for our detriment. It came to my realization that by the end of slavery, it was way more than 4 million of us. It had to be around 12 million plus. See, because the 3/5 compromise was not only used since the 1780s, it continued to be used all the way up and through the 1868 period. So that's 81 years of us being purposefully undercounted. And after that, when it came to our taxation, tax, like all other citizens, we benefited from none of those taxes. We didn't get representation. They're on the hook for multiple millions to each of us individually. They are. And this breaks the core of white supremacy. Another thing that breaks the core of white supremacy is fighting back against their elimination of black history amongst the states. We have to push back. It's all hands on deck. We have to get in people's ears, jump on people's pages, everything that we can do in order to stop their deletion of our American history here. Okay? All these things go into play. All these things go into play. Now, I know the topic is about Uganda and their death penalty for LGBTQ. However, if you ask me, I think that this is an issue that needs to be further down the priority list. Because as far as it goes for us, we are the key of liberation. We are the sound, the note, the tone of blackness worldwide. And what happens to us? It has to first start with us. Everybody else can work their blueprint off of what we did, or maybe even get help from us. But we got to put on that air mask first. And we've got to stop the bleeding. We got to stop the bleeding as far as education. We got to stop the bleeding as far as finances, definitely. And that goes with banking and insurance companies. We got to stop the bleeding as far as as far as healthcare, as far as these hospitals that are killing us. We have to stop the bleeding as far as policing, taxation. There is 720 degrees of attack that white supremacy has placed on us over the course of those 400 and some odd centuries. But we got this. Yeah, and I'll land my plane with that.
Okay, M. Wilkins, real quick, and I get what you're saying, and you're saying that it needs to be further down, but it's world news, so I had to go ahead and include that. I get what you're saying, that this doesn't directly impact us, even though we're over here in America. You know, part of doing media, part of doing the news cycle is also, you know, everything's not always going to be centered in America. This was a major story yesterday, so I want to go ahead and address it. I want to go ahead and give it its credence. I pretty much deal with the domestic issues here in America as well too, but sometimes when things impact other black people worldwide as well too, we got to go ahead and we got to speak up on it as well too. You know, what they're going to do in Uganda, they're going to do in Uganda. I have no control over that, but it was an important issue. And you're right, in terms of what goes on here in America, you know, it's not at the top of the food chain. That's definitely true. But at the same time, it is an agenda that's affecting black people worldwide. So it was definitely a newsworthy topic, and I wanted to go ahead and include that in the space tonight. And, you know, when something like that comes up and it's affecting black people, and sometimes it affects black people globally, because we see that we're being a guinea pig over here. And shout out to people that don't want to be the guinea pig worldwide. So, like I say, I don't agree with the method of how they're doing it. I don't agree in terms of, you talk about giving people the death penalty and life sentences and things of that nature. I have no issue with you standing up and saying, hey, you know, what y'all do over there in the West, you're not going to do over here. I can understand that. Now, I will say that they need to go ahead and they need to, as Rella said, hold their own balls on other issues as well, too. Don't just go ahead and stop on the actual LGBTQ right as well, too. Go ahead and become masters of your own universe over there and control your resources and your land. Stop having foreigners over there with military bases on your damn continent. You got 30, 40 different countries that's got military bases over there. How many countries in the United States have a military base over here in the United States of America? Oh, that's right. None of them except America. So while the LGBTQ issue is important and you don't want to get treated the same way people worldwide do, go ahead and stand up, get your mineral resources, get your agriculture in line, go get your infrastructure, go get your education, go ahead and teach your people about the actual ways that the transatlantic slave trade affect the people over here. Talk about the Arab slave trade, talk about your history of being colonized and everything like that as well, to stop being dependent on aid from China and Europe and all these other places as well, too. So if you want to go ahead and get certain things straightened out, go ahead and get it all straightened out. So I would say that much right there. But yeah, this was definitely a newsworthy issue. Being the curator, that news. Yeah,
brother Newstoter, I agree with you. I say this, as far as they go, they need to recognize the value of their blackness. They're not recognizing the value of their blackness due to colonization. Ours is because of slavery and just continual degradation. Theirs is because of colonization and degradation. However, recognizing the value of life, of black life, is what they need to do.
Absolutely. And I agree with you on that too. But like you say, first and foremost, I'm going to do the news here because this is what's relevant to us. We live here in America. So we got to go ahead and cover what's going on as well here. And that's first and foremost. But, when we see stuff going on around the world as well, too, and it's, it's global, of somewhat global importance. I want to go ahead and cover that, too, because it's a certain thing of having the versatility to be able to, just go ahead and cover more than one type of topic and things of that nature. But first and foremost, America, Black Americans, that's what we have to worry about first and foremost. And that's what I put my effort into. But, we've done spaces and stuff when they gave Africa the $55 billion, we had a space on that. We talked about that. And we talked about when they gave Central America or Latin America, whichever one, they were talking about giving them billions of dollars as well, too. So, sometimes we have to cover things that's just not the domestic as well, too. We have to cover things of importance. And love my folks. She's on Twitter, on YouTube, asked me, Newstoter, are you Pan-African? No, I'm not Pan-African, sweetie, but Newstoter is the largest curator of Black news a day in America. And sometimes you have to go out the realm and you have to go ahead and you got to cover things as well, too. Now, we have sources on Newstoter that covers not only in this country, but also covers over there in Africa as well, too. Cover over in the Caribbean. We got even a hair person over there. I believe it's Black Hair Information we curate from. That's over there in England, and they do hair as well too. So you got to have versatility. We can't sit up here and just let white folks go ahead and have CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and this and that, and they giving updates all around the world. But we as Black people only sit up here in America. We just sit up, man. You got to leave your goddamn neighborhood sometimes and travel as well too. So I'll be damned if I'm gonna just be pigeon-toed about what I can and cannot report. Newstoter not only reports the news, not only reports education, but also covers culture, also covers education, lifestyle, entertainment. So we cover the entire gamut here because we are a curator of Black news and culture and lifestyle. So we have to go ahead and we have to cover all of that as well too. So no, I'm not a Pan-African. I do believe that Black people around the world, I do want to see Black people around the world win. First and foremost, I live here in America, so I got to see Black Americans win before I can do anything else. I can't go and my house is junky and trashy and go clean the next person's house next door. I got to clean my house first and foremost. I got to worry about me first and foremost. But, at the same time, I like to see Black people worldwide, globally win. First and foremost, I am the descendant of chattel slavery. My people built this country up. They built everything up like that. So I have to go ahead and worry about that. No, love my folks. I don't know what you talk about. It seems like Pan-Africanism because, sister, you must haven't seen the 100 and some odd videos on this YouTube channel. Newstoter is about Black folks, about Black Americans. But at the same time, if I see a Black child on the street and that child happens to be Caribbean or that child happens to be African and they hungry out there, I'm not going to walk past them and say, oh, God damn, you're not a Black American. Let me let you starve. No, it don't work like that. If I got the funds on me, I got something, I go get that child something to eat. I'm going to go ahead and get that child something to eat. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, if that makes you Pan-African, I don't know what the hell it does. To me, it makes you a human being, first and foremost. Like I say, I'm not going to sit up here and let no Black child starve if I can help it, just straight up. I've given money back in the day to white bums. I've given money to white bums sitting out there and not doing anything. So I'm damn sure going to give money to a Black child sitting out there. They hungry. I'm going to feed them or clothe them or whatever. And like I say, your ethnic group or whatever culture you come from, that's going to come secondary, but you're still Black. I'm a Black American first and foremost, but I'm not going to sit up there and let other Black folks, just, die if I can help it. That's just me. Now, I don't know. That's the way my mama and daddy raised me. I mean, that's the way they raised me. That's what they instilled in me, that we Black, we Black Americans, but we are Black at the same time. So let me see who's on because
you just got people that don't know how to read the room, and I think everybody believes that we all supposed to be on that, No, it's not even that, because I will kumbaya with people, and I don't think that's the issue. The issue is everybody thinks that we should all be sitting here arguing with other people who are from other cultures who are melanated. I'm not on that time. I don't got time for that. And we should be able to talk about everything that is within our ethos there without having to be considered the Pan-African mantra being ran down on everybody because you was in a space or you was in another room or you part of some other group that goes back and forth and wants to, yell out everybody at tether. I'm sorry, like most of us are, most of us, them damn people.
Okay, I had to remove John. Okay, there's other one. Let me go ahead and remove him as well too. Yeah, because we got a couple trolls on here, so I had to kind of remove them real quick. So
right, I think most of us are intelligent enough to know how to read the room, and for those of us who are for our people and our countrymen, we know when and know where to show up. We don't have to always be in a combative mode with other people who are melanated. I don't think that was the movement. That wasn't the mission. So if you in them rooms and you on that time, that's there every time we have a conversation, that's what you want to hear, then I feel bad for you because you missing the point. You're not focused enough. You want to be in an argument and a fight with every damn body instead of understanding that we are supposed to be building at the same time. We still got to turn around even after reparations and trade with other people.
Absolutely.
I don't know what else to say with people.
Yeah, and
on some other stuff.
Love my folks. She said, "Don't get mad." Thank you for clarifying your position. Like her focus is exclusive on the group, and my focus is the same way too. Love, like I'm not getting mad. I'm just letting you know that hey, and I have to have compassion for other people as well too. Especially other black people out there. Every black person out there, you know what I'm saying? I know first and foremost, we have to worry about black Americans because we live here. The same way somebody in Nigeria is going to worry about Nigerians first and foremost. They're not going to worry about black Americans. They're not going to worry about Caribbean Americans. They're going to worry about the people that's closest to them in their vicinity. That's their main concern. I understand that. My main concern is the same thing here. I'm in Florida. So first and foremost, before I can do anything for anybody else, I got to do something for the people in my city, my state, my country. So I'm understanding that exactly. So I definitely feel you on that. I'm just saying that, hey, if there are black people that's out there and they have the mindset that, hey, you know what, we can work together and this and that, whatever. I'm not against that. If it's going to be beneficial for both sides, it just can't be beneficial for you. It's got to be beneficial for me as well too, and my people as well too. I'm not going to enrich you on off of the backs of my own people. And like I said, yeah, we're the same race, even though we're not the same ethnic group. So we might be we the same race, we black, but we're not the same ethnic group. I understand that, and they understand that, and I got respect for that as long as you have respect for my people as well too. So, but we had a bunch of trolls coming up in here as well too, man. Coming up in that like that while you was talking, bro. That's why I just started kicking them out because they started opening the mic and playing a little music and noises and stuff like that. But I don't have an issue, man. My main issue is black Americans, man, first and foremost, and then my people in the diaspora that's down. That's on code. If you on code, then we rock with you. If you're not on code, and that goes for the magpies in this country, that's descended of slaves and whatnot, that's been stabbing people in the back since the time we got out of goddamn slavery, doing any and everything they can for a damn crumb or stab you in the back just to show us we could. Let me tell you something. There's black people right here in our community right now. Martin Luther King was walking down MLK Boulevard in some of these neighborhoods. Some of these ignorant niggas would mug him. They would mug him and go, well, he ain't did nothing for me. Nigga ain't did nothing for me. Yeah, please. We got magpies right here in our own community as well, too. Don't let nobody fool you with that. So first and foremost, I'm going to do for those that's going to do for us, and that's black people in this country. They're the ones that built it. I believe black Americans should lead anything that's done in this country in terms of black people. We should not take a backseat to anybody because we built this damn country first and foremost. We should not. The first black president should have actually been somebody from chattel slavery. Okay, the first female black president, and I don't even know how you can say Carmela is a black or whatever, but whatever, should have been a black woman that was actually a descendant of chattel slavery in this country. So you can't go into the diaspora and you're not going to have the first Nigerian president, the first Ghanaian president that was a damn black American. His father was a black American. That don't exist. Only in America can they pull that kind of stuff also. First and foremost, we need to lead the way. And our people that's really down as part of the diaspora, they need to understand that, hey, y'all are the damn leaders of this boat right here. Y'all the ones that's going to steer this ship. Y'all, this is the love boat. You the goddamn captain on here. We following. Anybody got a problem with that, they can kick rocks. Miss T, I'm sorry, y'all. I kind of lost track of where we was at, but let me, Miss T, let me go ahead and throw it to you, Miss T.
Let me get a plate.
Yes, he was cooking. He was seasoning up and stirring it up. Hey, Newstoter. Hey, everybody in the room.
What's
Good
up?
to see you all again. Professor, welcome back.
Well,
Good
what
to
up,
see you.
Miss T? I tell you, good to see you, Miss T. Well, good to hear you. I haven't seen you, but good to hear you because I love the way you talk. You got that great country sound. I miss you.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, that's right.
Original, hit me up. We have a reparations meeting on Saturday, so definitely hit me up on the back channel. Joyce in the room, sanctuary cities, and well, let me start with Uganda first, and their death penalty for the LGBT. I really haven't processed this. I've been in the room late, and so I'm not really sure under what circumstances would they receive the death penalty. Do you have any further information? Call in the act.
I do not know. That's I don't know.
Hey, Don. So that's a country on its own. And do we have any rights and any say so over there? I don't really feel that we do. But I still have to sit on that a little bit longer. But I did want to talk about sanctuary cities since I have recently found out Atlanta is a sanctuary city. Did not know that. And you know who that was thanks to? That good old light that everybody liked named Keisha. Keisha made Atlanta a sanctuary city. Now, we had a city on the outskirts. I can't think of the name of it, but that one was a sanctuary city. But they had their own mayor and everything. But now we have Asian gangs. We have these Asian, what you call these people that hot rod their cars and zoom by you going like 120 miles an hour on the interstate, and it's like it's like 100 of them all going at the same time. We have issues with African gangs in my city, which is Mableton, Georgia. So it's no longer a safe place. They're getting sanctuary because, from my understanding, they could commit a crime and not even have to serve time. And I have a friend that I asked to come into the room, Newstoter. Hopefully you didn't kick him out thinking he was one of the people making the sounds. Heart Seller. He is like an expert on sanctuary cities. But I did learn from him that if your country is so bad, once you get here and you're seeking asylum or whatever and you're denied, they don't have to send you back to your original home country. You can go to other countries. You need to get up out of here, because if we can't accept you here, that means you most likely have done some things in your home country that may not have been legit. Like the African who came here from, was it France that came here, and he had killed a woman in France, and then America let him in and he shot 3 people. Do y'all remember that a couple of months ago? The Nigerian that said he just didn't like black people.
The one in Washington State that That's the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't we do a space on him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think that was a false flag. The police never released none of the information. There's no other information going on surrounding that particular person. You know, all the news media showed you was a melanated hand, and nobody know who. What's his name? Mamadou Diallo. Mamadou. That was his name. Not Amadou, but Mamadou.
Oh, okay.
Right. So there's no information on that, and I'm not saying it's real or fake, but you know how these white folks do. They'll do anything to start a race war between the diaspora.
Okay, but with the sanctuary cities, I'm no longer feeling safe. It's like they've forgotten about our security as American citizens. With the overrunning of the border, we have no idea who's here. These people come here with no ID. They can change their names when they get here, and I just don't feel good about it. And I don't understand why has the U.S. government just suddenly all of a sudden just thrown caution to the wind as far as securing the United States. And it's not just the Democrats. The Republicans are also complicit with the overrunning of our borders because they have major corporations who may be paying them so that they can get these illegal citizens or these migrant workers, and they're not using E-Verify. I don't even know if there's a way we can force them to use E-Verify. I don't even know if there's a way. How can we force their hand in not allowing the overrunning of the borders? Does anybody have any information on what can we do?
Ms. T, the only thing we can hope for is we can get Trump in office.
No. E-Verify is something that actually can be pushed on the local and state level because it's actually something that actually can be implemented through businesses, but it has to be part of legislation. And again, we have to.
Businesses, they find ways around that. You already know that. That's
well,
why
they find ways around that now because there's no legislation to force E-Verify on applications right now. I think it only asks the basics. You know, if you're a national or what your citizenship status is. However, we can as citizens again, if you've ever attended a referendum meeting, then you can actually bring that up in those meetings and say, hey, we want to put that on a docket to have that discussion, or for the county to take that up in discussion, or on a state level, talk to your representative and say, we want E-Verify.
Okay. Look, I'm like you. I would love to have that done, but see, what's happening is these Democrats and the Republicans are playing everybody for fools. Because, see, the Republicans would say, well, yeah, we're trying to keep these folks out of here. But, see, they're not really trying to keep them out of here. Because you think about, like, for instance, DeSantis, right? And what's that governor's name over there in Texas? Abbott, yeah. Okay, these guys, okay, if they wanted to, they could have taken or shipped these immigrants back out of the country, right? But what did they do? They sent these guys up into other parts of the country. See, it's all a political game, y'all. This shit is a playing game by both parties. And we have to be
But Professor, we also have to recognize too, you know, the I-9 form too is another form that is supposed to be enforcing E-Verify. So I mean,
but Rella, they're not even doing those forms, and some of these workers are all using the same name. From my understanding, and then And then you can't say that he's not Julio Gonzalez 13 times.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. The I-9 form again has to be.
Child.
The I-9 form has to be something that we maybe get familiar with. A part of it's the Citizenship and Immigration Services are part of that. And so I think we just have to not be on the fence about what we're seeing and actually start to take action for what we're not seeing. Because we already know what's happening. We don't have the statistical data, though, to say, okay, this is how many people are claiming Julio and they're not Julio. But we need to start now really getting into the stages of, okay, we need to really pull the data on how are we going to hold companies accountable to make sure that they're enforcing I-9 or E-Verify, and then how do we get it to a point where it's in legislation on a federal level, and we have to talk to our representatives. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Like, you can't just be like, well, because it's that, like.
Can we still call ICE? Is ICE still active?
ICE is still active, but ICE does not deal with what we're talking about legislation-wise. We're talking about we need somebody to push a form of legislation that says we want it to be permanent, meaning that you have to specifically be able to prove that you are a United States citizen, naturalization, and companies have to keep data on the I-9 or E-Verify for their hiring practices. I mean, news sellers in here. I've been in news seller spaces before. I mean, not news seller. Oh God, hard seller. Sorry.
Okay, so are they with the migrant situation going on, Rella? Are they doing I-9s?
They doing I-9, but they're not really doing a serious.
For immigrants or for hiring?
The migrants.
No,
that's not for immigrants. I don't think I-9 is for like job for people. You talking about for people who are hiring immigrants?
They're not doing it for the immigrants, Ms. T. They skipping by them on these applications. They just letting these folks come in and get the jobs. Like out there in California right now, Gavin Newsom had put it out there that these folks will come in and get into government jobs. Now this is BS. Black Americans that have been here for years deserve those jobs. This is crap. These folks ain't doing nothing but coming in here getting everything that we supposed to already have in this country. It's BS. It ain't nothing but a bunch of bullshit. It pisses me off. And I tell you what, these are the times that I wish that Rowdy Coyote had caught that damn no good ass Mexican mouse, whatever his damn name. What was that dude's name?
Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez. Yeah. I was about to say, I
take 2 tacos on, but they do. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Primos, though. Shout out to the Primos. I take 2 steak. 2 steak, 1 chicken. 2 steak, 1 chicken.
Y'all, that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to release some coyotes, but not like that Rowdy Coyote, because he could never do shit, right? But we need to release some coyotes out here that can catch these damn immigrants and get them out of this country.
But
get all these people
on the southern border. It's the northern border. It's the Afghan. What are these people coming from?
But with that being said, though, Ms. T, you talk about when you mentioned like the Northwest, you're talking about a whole different demographic of people still as well.
Oh, the Chinese. You didn't hear about the Chinese that are coming in to Mexico?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right, correct. Hey, let's see. We got a lot of hands up or whatever the case be. I don't know if you want to let somebody else go.
Yeah, let's Hard Sell. I saw him come up here. He's a new speaker, so let's get Hard Sell up in here. I think Missy, this is your friend right here you was talking about, right?
Yes, highly intelligent in this area of sanctuary cities.
Hey, thanks for having me up. I can answer some of these questions. So to Rella's point, the Form I-9 is collects information about employment eligibility, but it's not actually checked against anything else. And an employer can't scrutinize documents. So if you present fake ones, as long as they can't tell that that document is blatantly fake, then they'll just take your word for it and they just file it away after they fill it out. The E-Verify was a pilot program started by Congress intended to replace the I-9. So when we're talking about 13 Julio Gonzalez's, instead of just filling out the form with a pen and then filing it away, the employer actually has to log into a database and enter the information about the documents that are being presented. And on the back end, the government checks it. So DHS communicates with Social Security about, the Social Security numbers, and the Department of Labor about employment authorization. And so if there's not a match between what you're presenting and what the government has on file, they will issue what's called a no match letter. And the no match letter, the employer doesn't have to fire you, but they can't. Like, you are required to present the employer some sort of validation of your information. If that means you have to, take off work to go to the Social Security Administration to clear up the no match, then so be it. But you do have to take action for it. So it is worthwhile for people to, petition their state and local governments to adopt mandatory E-Verify, even though businesses will sort of fuss about it, especially the ones that depend on illegal employees. Now, as for the migrants coming across the border, a lot of them are getting work permits. So when you're talking about being displaced, we're talking about people that have no legal right to come, enter into, or remain in the United States, being issued work permits by this current administration. And it's not just a work permit, it's also a Social Security number. So they are as illegal as the day is long, but when it comes to working, they are legit, they are hireable. So, it doesn't matter, working in agriculture, working in construction, working in service, these people are coming to a city or town near you with a work permit that they got from the government while they, are going through their immigration proceedings, which may be in some cases, now we're up to, I think, about 5 years from now.
Yeah, but something, these caucasoids are allowing them in here to displace us, and they're doing this to hurt Black Americans, mainly us. And so this is a problem. We have to find a way to resolve it. So what is the solution for us to get these Speedy Gonzalez's out of this country? Okay? That's what we got to do. I'm sorry. I know it sounds mean that, we don't want these people here. But these people coming in here attacking us. I had family members, y'all, that used to live out in California that had been attacked by these Hispanics, okay? Now they back over here in Alabama. My family members are here that were living out there. But they talked about how the Hispanics were out there attacking Black Americans. I think they still are out there attacking us. So our families that are in these places like California they got to come back here so we can have some overall protection surrounding with Black American, because you out there by yourself in these places. I want the Black American family to understand you are by yourself, and we are seeing the rise in attacks against Black Americans. Look at the hate crime statistics. If you haven't looked at the statistics of hate crimes against Black Americans, you might want to take a look at them, y'all, because the numbers are right there, high as hell with us. But yet we don't have a crime bill, a hate crime bill. Now, look at all the other groups, right? But look at us. We are up there. Let me see. I think it's 2,000. I think I saw it was like 2,000 in the range of 2,000, which is a very high number of attacks for, I think it was for 21, for the year 2021. That goes to show you that the hate crime against Black Americans is very high, very significant. we're being attacked by so many people, by all these different groups, by the white folks, by these no good Speedy Gonzalez's, and then by the Jackie Chan's, and then we're being attacked by
China
Max, whatever you want to call them. That's Zelensky, because they over here now too. We have a bunch of Ukrainians coming up in here. See, we got all these motherfuckers coming up in here.
The Russians start to blame us for hip hop because they youth over there killing each other.
Oh, that's right, y'all. The Russians. See, we got to be worried about these folks. See, these folks are all up over here too. But see, they 7,000 miles over there talking about Black Americans, because they got folks over there committing suicide, which I don't give a damn. They can fall off the bridge all I care. I don't give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, Rasputin can come back and take all of them out. Now, if you don't know who Rasputin is, go look up history over in Russia. But he can come back and take all of them out. Ukraine and Russia can continue to just blow each other up. I don't give a shit. They can drone each other up. I don't give a shit about them. And these Speedy Gonzalez's over here, hey, Rowdy Coyote, I wish he had caught that motherfucker years ago. But that's okay. We're going to see if he can catch him now. We need him out of here. Black Americans, this is our fault too, though. Partially our fault because we were stumping for Hispanic groups to come over here. Can't do it anymore. I want Black American family to understand that we can't be stumping for any more groups. No more. It just, we're out of time with all this shit now. Okay? So therefore, now, instead of stumping for these groups, we got to make sure that we are on the same page to get groups out of this country that are taking resources that's supposed to be coming to us. I lay my plane there.
Hey, real quick, Professor. Over there on YouTube, and your girl Love My Folks. That's the one that she be going in. It's the one she be going back and forth. She said, this is what she said with your comment. She was like, all the immigrants, not just the Hispanics, but y'all Caribbean, African friends who overstayed their visit got to go too.
Most of the people that are here illegally are on overstayed visas. Well, it used to be.
Yeah, prior to this administration, it was about 60-40 for visa overstays versus border crossers. But the thing about visa overstays is visa overstays tend to go home, where a border crosser, generally speaking, has no intention of ever leaving unless made to. But that's the answer, is that people need to make their hometown, make their city an unwelcome place for these people. And you make it bad enough, they will go somewhere else. And if that place makes it bad, they will eventually just go home. So that was one of the things, during the 2008 economic downturn and during part of Trump's administration, is that they felt unwelcome or unable to hold a job and they went home.
That is true.
That's the whole thing. And so we were talking about sanctuary cities. There is no excuse that anyone should tolerate crimes committed by individuals that have no legal right to be here. None whatsoever. So, the same thing with, one of the things that ICE does is worksite enforcement, but not under this administration. That's not going to happen. But there was a court case in Kansas a couple of years ago. Guy was speeding, got pulled over by a cop. Cop asked him where he was going. Guy said he was going to work. I didn't have a driver's license because he was an illegal alien. So the cop was like, well, where do you work at? He was taking notes. And the state ended up requesting the forms that the guy used to get a job. And the guy had stolen somebody's identity and passed the documents off of his own, and they prosecuted him. And that case went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court actually ruled in the state of Kansas' favor. So, any state, whether it's Georgia or Florida or Texas, those states can do exactly the same thing that Kansas did and go out there and find illegal aliens and track backwards to where they're working and then do state level worksite enforcement and make it so that those businesses can't operate with illegal alien labor and make the illegal aliens just want to go somewhere else. Those are jobs for Americans.
Real talk. Let me get to Original, and let me get to M. Wilkins after that too. Go ahead, Original. I know you was waiting for a little minute.
Yeah. Well, first I want to thank Rella for making that correction. I really wasn't trying to say Obama, but I was kind of multitasking here. What I was going to say was what Obama did. This was back maybe 2010 or so, around 2010. Obama was trying to force the Ugandans to accept homosexuality. Now, there's a video on YouTube. It's called "Eat the Poo Poo," and they got a sign up on the wall saying, "Back up, Barack Obama," because he's doing the same thing that Jim Crow Joe and others are doing, or have done and are doing. That he want to make the stipulation they don't accept this, that they're going to cut off all kind of aid and trade with them. But that's what Jim Crow Joe said in his platform that he had for the gay community. He said as well as Bernie Sanders had the same thing, said that if there was gay people being treated badly around the world, they would work through the Department of State and decide that they would cut trade off and cut whatever funding they would give them or whatever to make them accept this. These are the levels that these people would go to push this agenda. And so my point is that, like I'll bring it all the way back to us. What have these people done for us lately? I'm talking about the Democrats and the Republicans, because I keep hearing that if we vote for the Republicans, but I'm not voting for Republicans unless there's reparation on the table. So I'm not giving you a get out of jail free card. And a lot of this immigration stuff, I don't know if anybody's heard of this book. It's called An American Dilemma, The Negro Problem in Modern Democracy. And the chapter on population, they talked about how, the white people have known that their numbers were dwindling since like maybe the early 1940s. They knew there was an issue. Even before that old Margaret Sanger started that eugenics program, they've known that their numbers were dwindling. But see, what happened is, in this book, Garner Middle talks about how they said that they would use the Canadians and the Mexicans to come in so that they can keep the numbers for the white population. And their numbers are worse off than what they thought, because now they're just bringing them in from everywhere. That's the severity of this, of their birth third. They are not reproducing themselves. So they got to go out there and get people who can basically put them out like rabbits and try to keep their numbers going. And so, because even if you notice, there were some of these women in Ukraine, they were being paid to have babies. And so, but you look at all around the world, especially in these European countries, their birth rate have just plummeted. As well, even China is having issues with their birth rate. Their birth rate has plummeted. So I think we have to look at it from a different perspective as far as that. And let me say this: someone had mentioned.
Original. Now we can tell you what's going on with the Asian community with that situation. I know you seen that video from yesterday, but that Asian man was running around naked, trying to beat up on a black man. I don't know if anybody's seen that video, but y'all know.
Yeah, I saw it.
And somebody in this space, man. I ain't gonna say his name.
That video old. That thing like they're 10 years old, man.
Oh, is it? Somebody in the space said, "Well, where's his penis at?" Like, where?
That was
I know who said that.
CC said that. CC said that. Yeah, that was CC.
The Black Native said it too.
Yeah. No, but let me make this other point here. Someone brought up education, and I think we have to be very careful. In my opinion, we have to be very careful when they talk about, taking Black history out of the school. I still say Black history has to be taught in the home. And see, one of the things that I did here, this was some years ago, this brother I was working with, I started sharing information with him about Black history. But unbeknownst to me, I did not know he was taking the information home and giving it to his children. And so the children, they took it to school. And it got, I mean, it was so widely spread. I gave them like a list of like inventors and some books that they could read and stuff. And so the teacher, they had a Black teacher, and the school is not far from my house either. And so the teacher allowed them to bring the information to the school. Now, prior to them getting the information, they was walking around. He said, brother told me his children would walk around the house on their phone, just texting with their friends and this back and forth, and this, that, and whatever, right? But when they began to obtain this information and conducting their own research, then all of a sudden it changed. He said they would walk around having in-depth conversation with their friends. And so, the teacher had to grade the teacher for something. And so they gave the teacher kind of a low score. And they said, well, Mr. Original, we got to give him this. He told me, he's going to be upset with you. I said, she's letting you bring it into the classroom. You give her a high grade. I don't care what you do when you give her the high grade, because she allows them to bring it into the classroom. They started a history club. I mean, they did some of everything. Their daughter had to write a book report, and I got her a used copy of Great Black Leaders, Ancient and Modern, and she ended up doing it on Queen Hatshepsut, and she received an A on the paper. And what was so sad about it, some of the administrators at her school, these are people some of them with graduate degrees. They had never heard of Dr. Ivan Ben Sertima. I'm like, what? Damn, so I feel that, in order for us to put Black history in the school, I think we may have a better chance of putting it in the children and allowing the children to take it to school, because, see, I just have this feeling that once we give the enemy the authority to teach our children their history, it might work well for 5 to 10 years, but after that, they're going to start their line again, because they do not want Black children to know this. See, there was a sister. She was in Newstoter space. I think it might have been last week or the week before that. But anyway, she talked about her grandchild was sharing some information about Black history with her. She said, baby, where'd you get this from? And the child said she got it off TikTok. And so I do believe that this issue with TikTok, it's not so much about them spying on America. It's about these young people, specifically these young Black children. They are getting some solid information from social media, and they're trying to figure out how to stop that. I think that has more. I mean, granted, that information is on YouTube as well, Twitter and these others. So I think there might be a possibility that they are using that as a ruse to get rid of TikTok, because a lot of young people, they will use TikTok. They don't go to Facebook and Twitter a lot. They go to TikTok to get a lot of information. And so,
because Mr. Original, I don't mean to cut you off, because Facebook had censored. Remember, they were already in front of Congress, and they had censored a lot of Black creators prior to them starting Meta. And they were testifying in front of Congress because a lot of other people also got caught up and was complaining. And they went before Congress, and they were talking about, they weren't stealing data, and they weren't, collecting people's information and send it over to the feds. And look, don't get me wrong, some folks do need to go over to the feds. I ain't lying. Some folks need to be in the Fed database. But when you're talking about censoring content so that people don't get information, that to me it's a red flag.
Yes, you are so right. And let me say, I see some more hands up. Let me say this, and then I can let some of this come up. But I think it was Brother Leon. He mentioned benign neglect. See, what I started doing is this. See, I started saying benign neglect edict, EDICT, and that is an official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority. Now, see, it may not be an issue. They may not have issued it, but they are using that because when you look at what they do for us versus other groups, because see, check this out. Professor mentioned the hate crime statistic. Now, the anti-black in 2020 was 2,871. 2021, 3,277. Now, the Asians in 2020 was 279, 746 in 21. So I'm trying to figure out, and I've been sending this to Jim Crow Joe and other folks, asking them, how is it that the Asians got a hate crime bill and black folks don't have one? We don't have that protection. I mean, in 2024, people, we got to come out. I mean, before we even come out the door, we're going to have to be swinging. And I mean swinging hard. We got to hit them with everything we got. We ain't just throwing the kitchen sink. I'm throwing the whole damn house, you know. But I want to make sure that they see. Oh, and then one last thing. But Miss T, let me share this with you. See, that's
real quick, original, because we got some hands up because I got it. Yeah. And Wilkins been waiting for a minute, so go ahead and real quick and bring it so I can go ahead and get to everybody.
Yeah, the sanctuary, it kind of started under Kasim Reed because he wrote a letter regarding what Donald Trump was doing and saying that it was wrong, blah, 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 blah. And the entire Atlanta City Council plus him, they voted to, they passed like 2 resolutions stating that these illegal aliens had the right to be here. So yeah, it kind of started with him too. But I'll let someone else come up.
All right, I'm gonna get to M. Wilkins and I'm gonna get to Trouble and Sister Sean. I see they came up here as well too. So go ahead, M. Wilkins.
Yes. As far as the sanctuary cities, I didn't touch on that. I come to find out there's over 506 sanctuary cities in the United States.
You breaking up, M? You breaking up? Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah, you just breaking up. Try to repeat that again because you were just breaking up.
Okay. There's 560 plus sanctuary in the United States.
Yeah. Now I know. I'm hearing you break up. DJ, can you hear him? Is that just me?
Breaking up, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, try to keep taking it off speakerphone. If you ain't gonna just talk through the regular mic.
Hey, one thing about it, they're making an auto tunes album. There you go, auto tunes.
You may you may have to clear the cache out of Twitter as well too.
I'm gonna drop down and come back.
Okay.
Drop down and come back.
Let me go ahead and get
the other was making an auto tunes album right there. That's a good thing.
Let me get the Trouble real quick while he's dropping now. Go ahead, Trouble. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Glad you got your mic. You was on robotic. I was kind of in here doing my robot moves and stuff.
There's no robotic retune. That was auto tune, not no robotic.
Shout out to the group. Good evening, everybody. I know I'm coming in kind of late. I've been in and out of space tonight. Professor, good to see you as always. And I want to, reiterate what Rella said. Everything she said, I agree with 100%. We missed you, brother. And you got to stop coming up missing. And I'm glad you changed your profile picture back because I was just getting ready to tell you we had voted and we said we wanted it back. So.
Oh shit! Trouble! You are trouble.
I'm the call today. I come to bring the pain.
I see.
Okay, so real quick, I love when Brother Original gets up here. I always vibe off that brother, and so I don't have any commentary on the sanctuary cities. I sure hate that they're in full effect. I agree with what Sister Rella said about the fact that, we had segregated in cities where we were racially terrorized, and it's a goddamn shame that they're giving sanctuary cities where they have laws set in place to keep them safe. things and set-asides and setbacks and all of these different things. Well, set-asides while we get setbacks, you know, and it's disheartening, and it's like we're watching all of this go down in real time. To Brother Original's point, you're absolutely right about the whole TikTok thing. That's where they're trying to keep our kids from getting this information because they're trying to take it out of the school. And you want to be where kids are at. Kids are not on Facebook. They're not on Twitter because, as my kids told me, that's where you old people are at. And all y'all do is troll each other and argue. So they don't want to be on those websites. But it's a killer to me that Facebook had all of that Russian propaganda going on during the elections. They had all of this foolishness, even with Twitter going on. And not once did you hear them talk about shutting those websites down or taking them away or doing anything different with them. And they're still up running and still happy and free. So this is basically an assault, a backhanded assault on our children. And you're trying to keep their minds where you want them at. And so you want to take away the one thing where you know that they're at and they're listening to, which is the TikTok. So what if they decide to do that and they continue to go about taking our history out of school? Just like our children were going to online school during COVID time, we are going to have to form some type of online homeschool setting to where our children are still coming to get these history lessons. We're just going to have to do what we got to do. And if I got to go to every computer company in the area and start shipping them and distributing free computers out, that's what we're going to have to do to make sure that these kids are able to get online and get this knowledge that they're trying to keep them from. The sad part about it is it's not just our children who need this information. All children need this information, because if you don't understand the history, you're going to repeat it at some point in time. And my ultimate goal is for my children to not have to keep fighting for the same fucking things I've been fighting for, the same things my mama was fighting for and her mama was fighting for. Why do we have to keep going through these changes with these clouds that we have at the helm? It's really beginning to kind of get on my nerves. So that's really the only point that I came in here to make, just to add on to what Brother Original was saying, and I'll land on that. Y'all have a good one. I'm still here.
All right. Thank you, Trouble. Let me give a shout out real quick to my girl Goddess too. Goddess, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Definitely appreciate that, sister. As always, appreciate you. So thank you, Goddess. Let me go ahead and go to Sister Sean. Sister Sean, how you doing tonight?
Hey, good evening. Just to piggyback on the caller, this whole CRT thing, if you don't read the tea leaves, it's a complete farce. And all it is a sense of trying to prevent what I call white compassion, right? If you notice, it all popped up after the COVID summer riots, BLM. It's just an extension of that. They don't want the white children to have sympathy for Black folk. Because if you looked at most of those protests, it really wasn't majority Black. There's a lot of white pigs out there in the streets. So that's that. And somebody else talked about, they were talking about birth rates and things. I just did a post on my Twitter page. In Philadelphia, they're proposing $1,000 a month for pregnant women in a special program, pilot program, which I think is wonderful. But I thought about it. I mean, I've had 4 kids. You know, I had to birth my babies, and I had to get my ass back out to work. And then my babysitter fee was running me like $800-900 a month. Okay, so I thought about it. Wow, this is just so wonderful. These wonderful things. It's for immigrants. I totally believe. Now all of a sudden we've got $1,000 a month for pregnant women in the state of Philadelphia, and women like me who have just was on the grind for all of my children, and we never had anything like that. Now we have all these immigrants, and they're the ones that have most of the babies. Now all of a sudden we want to propose $1,000 a month subsidy for pregnant women. Go figure. Next thing, sanctuary cities. The sanctuary city situation really kind of boils my blood, because I kind of feel like I never knew what the hell a sanctuary city was, and I never freaking voted for sanctuary city. It's almost like they just arbitrarily put this on us. So when I got the research and started digging on them, I found out that they literally can declare themselves a sanctuary city without a voice from the people. So now we're working on to reverse sanctuary city status. So I'm doing a pilot on that here, and we're working in Washington. I've got a small coalition. We call ourselves the CCC. I'll start hashtagging it, and that's the Chocolate City Coalition in the District of Columbia. And we're trying to meet with Muriel Bowser. We're meeting with not just on sanctuary city stuff, but then also some reparations too. We're very small at this point. It's 5. I'm gonna call everybody out who's on the team, but one member, JD, she's there. I think she's down here somewhere. But yeah, we're gonna be kicking up some dust, and we're going to be reversing the sanctuary city, because the first sanctuary should be for my people. It should be for reparations. And to reverse it, at least in Washington, I'm sure things vary from state to state. We have to do something it's called like a recall, or the equivalent in your state to a recall. What that means is you can get it done, but it's a little bit more work. And I think in the District of Columbia, we're required 5,000 signatures. So I'm getting my little team together and doing my thing. And we'll be at the subway stops. We'll be on the other side of the Anacostia River. And truth be told, one ward, if we can get one ward and partial of another ward, we can get that easy if all Black folks get on code. Because we are concentrated now, because we've been gentrified. So it's really interesting, and people really need to understand their power. So we literally can probably just target one ward to get enough freaking signatures and send that thing to Muriel Bowser and reverse that. I don't think anybody's ever done that. So what are you going to do? We reverse it. That means Texas, who's that? Florida's DeSantis and the Texas governor. He's been busting them up here. But they've been bused to our cities, right? Chicago, New York, D.C., Philadelphia. So we're being overwhelmed. And we've got a lot of people who can't even get basic services. And this is not a lie. This is not a lie. This is an over exhaustion of services where you can't even take care of the people that are already in your city. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's even unconstitutional. I'll be looking into that as well. How do you self-declare without a vote from the people a sanctuary city? Look at New York City. I don't know how many billions. I think they said that it's going to cost them $4 billion a year. Nobody voted for that shit. And they're offering them jobs. My children, I have a 21-year-old, 30-year-old. My 20-year-old, she's on a job. She can't find a goddamn job. Not even entry level.
Hey, Sister Shaw, if you need a member on your team for that, let me know. I'm with you.
DM me, and I'll lay that groundwork. And once I figured out how we can do it here, I'm sure it can be done in the other cities and states. But here's what I do know. It's done at a local level. It is not a federal thing. It is local. And they done snuck this thing, and we got to get on top of it. They backdooring a whole bunch of bullshit on us. They done snuck this thing up in here. I ain't never heard nothing about no damn sanctuary city till the buses came and started rolling in. So now I'm trying to reverse that shit, and we going to get them buses rolling right back up out of here. Because we ain't vote for none of this mess. And I'm laying right there.
Judge Joe Brown, he did say it is illegal.
All right. Real quick.
I believe it is.
Real quick. Yeah, he's up here real quick. Let me see how his connection is, because he keeps coming in and out, so he may be having some issues. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah, the only thing I was saying is that there's 560 plus sanctuary cities with 10 sanctuary states. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. We're hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, now with that in mind, this move in order to wipe the black away from American history, okay, this sets them up to systematically deny us because they constantly do the immigrant leapfrogging of black Americans. That is just the point that I was driving home with sanctuary cities.
All right. Appreciate it. Pretty quick point there, but I appreciate that. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
So I wanted to just say something to Sister Sean. That was great. That was spot on. And the second thing, trouble. You know, that's man. If anybody was my right and left hand, her and Mel, y'all are the best. Also wanted to also just piggyback off of what Original was saying earlier. You definitely weren't wrong about President Obama. I just definitely wanted to just highlight the fact that I think we've been in this the stage of cancer for a long time. And there was another point and I forgot it. Oh my God. Facebook definitely wants a piece of the pie. And that's the reason why they're like, you know, well, we ain't gonna give nobody. We're gonna delete. We're no longer gonna give money out to influencers. They shutting that down. And I think at the end of the day, I'm definitely gonna be pushing everybody to social. We definitely need to get social numbers up to about 300,000. Just off of GP. God, I forgot my point. Newstoter. It was something Sister Sean said.
Smoking the weed.
I am not. Oh my goodness, I forgot.
Reverse. Contact your mayor. Reverse your sanctuary city status and get your sanctuaries. Do a special recall to reverse it. Nobody has voted on this. I do believe they blindsided us, like they blindsided other people in other cities. This is illegal and it's wrong. And I'm saying this hopefully it'll jog your memory.
I know, that's what I was waiting for you to say. I think it has something. It was an earlier point, but everything that you said was spot on. Matter of fact, I just always feel like you're always spot on. So that's never. That's not nothing new.
Pregnancies.
Oh yes, that's what it was. Yes,
that's
thank
what
you.
it was.
Yes, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
So, I just want to point this out.
Check your DM, Shaw.
I just want to point this out, Sister Shaw. So look, $1,000 for immigrants, but they're going to be putting women who participate in abortions to sending their ass to jail. Now, the reason why I say that, I'm not championing abortion, but I want to show you. I'm painting a picture. An American woman will be put to jail or possibly in life in jail, either a life sentence depending on what state she's in. But then they're giving immigrants money to care for children that they're having, possibly if they don't have, the father's not there or something like that, or even if the father is there. I don't know what the requirements, Sister Sean, if you know that, but just look at the difference, because I know when we have discussions about policy and legislation, we seem to think that Black women don't have some sort of onus on what it is that we would want to have a discussion with our men in regards to reproduction and reproductive rights, caring for our bodies and things like that. Or we don't have somehow.
You there, Rella? Hey, DJ, you there? Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me in the space, y'all. I don't know what happened there. Rella was speaking, and all of a sudden, we lost her. Can y'all hear me in the space? I don't know what happened there. This app here, Lord have mercy. Can y'all hear me? Hey DJ, can you hear me? I know y'all hear me on YouTube, but the people in the space, once again, I don't know what's going on with these spaces. Let me see real quick if I can all in one this thing and try to get everybody back on the yeah, DJ, I don't know what happened with the space, man. I'm gonna try to do the all in one real quick and see. Let's see if we can try to get it back real quick, y'all. Oh, you out the room too? Damn, you out the room too? I'm trying to see about the all in one, man. Let me. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what's up with these spaces. I think that might be it for the space for the night. Yeah, it done shut it down, DJ. Okay, so I guess guys, we'll go ahead and we'll end that on the YouTube for the night. Damn, this thing is janky here, man. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. I'm sorry, y'all, but we lost the space on Twitter. So we'll be back another night, probably Monday through Thursday. We may do something this weekend as well, too. So shout out, y'all. I apologize for that. We just lost the space. So shout out, everybody. Thank you.